The following video is a recording from our third Artist Feedback AMA held within the MetaJungle Discord. I want to thank Mike Schmidt and Dan Hawk for hosting for us. They did a wonderful job. And for those who don't know, they're both active members of MetaJungle and acclaimed photographers themselves. The feedback we've received from other artists has been that this has been very helpful for them, and we hope you find it to be as well. So hope you enjoyed this third session, and we look forward to the next one.
All right, well, everyone, welcome to the third AMA. Nice to see most of you guys here. And I think we're just gonna open up today with talking about what OpenSea did today. So if you go on Twitter, to OpenSea's Twitter, they put out a message basically saying that add photography category when with a question mark, and they basically said like, photographers, link your collection here to be considered to be like featured before pre-launch. And I mean, I threw mine on there. I think Tristan threw his on there. A bunch of other people I saw from MetaJungle, and we didn't know, but it looks like they literally just decided to like grab some people and drop it today. So you guys all see my screen. They have a photography section on here now, which is really great for our community because we've got so many photographers here, right? MetaJungle is seems like it's like 98% photography. So it's cool that they have a category now because there's so much saturation on OpenSea. It's kind of like the difference between OpenSea and some of the other platforms like Super Rare and Foundation stuff is that so many artists using OpenSea, and now we have our own section for photography. So we could it kind of weeds out having to sort through all of the memes and all of the new created PFPs and and Pepe's or whatever they're called and all that stuff, and kind of just look at photography. So I opened it up literally right before we started on Discord here, and I was kind of overwhelmed to see that the trending collections had me right here and Tristan, who is also part of MetaJungle. And congrats, Tristan. That's pretty awesome, dude. If you're on the mic, like super congrats to you for getting up there. I'm sure this is going to give a lot of visibility to us, which is really cool. And there might even be some more people on here. Like I said, I literally just found out about this. So the community should just take a look through and see if you got listed up here on the trending. You can even go down at the bottom and you can see all items and find some more. So maybe throw out a tweet if you did, let people know, because that's huge, right? OpenSea is like the #1 platform for selling right now. So we got a photography page now, which is outstanding. So yeah, just wanted to show that, guys. I think that's really cool. We have a lot of artists to talk about today. So many submissions have been coming in, more and more each week. So we were between me and Dan, we tried to pick what we thought was the most diverse level of submissions from different people that needed different help in different areas, and would love to start. Anyone have anything before we kind of just get on like into the artists and start up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm blown away by the sheer volume of great work that is happening in this server.
Seriously,
so keep that up. Keep that up.
Yeah, in MetaJungle, like even just you mean in MetaJungle, right? Like, yeah. It just I'm blown away by like all the pictures I see every day. I'm like, whoa, like this could be in a magazine, this could be in a magazine, this could be in Nat Geo. Like, there's so much amazing work coming out of so many of you guys. I'm like so proud of the work that you guys are putting out, and we really have this AMA to help you, be more appealing to collectors, right? Like some of the people in here, I would say a majority of the people in here are not from the United States, and they're not native speaking English, and they need help with writing artist statements. And I helped someone just the other day with their artist statement, because of the language and stuff. And that could really help someone sell their collection, because the writing about your collection is really important. So really glad to be able to do this, especially for so many people from other countries who have limited access to a lot of things that we have here in the United States and Canada and such. And it seems like they have to go through a lot more hoops than we do to be involved in NFTs, and have the resources to get the equipment and all the stuff to produce their work. And a lot of respect for a lot of people in this community um, that are facing these language barriers and getting involved anyway, even though it's difficult, right? Like not having the fear of getting involved and still doing it, because I have so many native language speaking friends from America that like are interested in this idea of NFTs, but they just don't want to take that step to go forward with it. I don't know if it's out of fear or laziness or whatnot, but it's really great to see all of you guys, wanting to grow, submitting to the AMA, coming in here, and it's pretty awesome. So yeah, let's just dive in. So I have one of these pages I have open is just everybody's Twitter. I don't like to just have everybody's Twitter in one spot, and then I have another page with, let's get rid of this here, people's links to OpenSea. I actually wanted to start with, let me kind of go out of order here and go. I want to start with this collection, this underwater wildlife collection. And this is from Salt Photo. I don't know if that's how you say it exactly. And I'm going to read off.
How are you? My name's Ryan.
Oh, Ryan, how you doing, Ryan? And I'm just looking in the Discord on my phone now at what your question was here, because thankfully Dan helped me out here and just took everyone's questions and put them in one spot, because it's a lot of work to just kind of study everyone. I didn't have to do it. But so, hi, Mike. Hi, Dan. Would love some feedback on my underwater wildlife collection. Created a few months back and has been stagnant for a while. That's the case with a lot of people, right? I think the idea of adding additional marine life to the collection might be a little complex. And I definitely overdid it with on the utilities. Any suggestions appreciated. So I want to start off by saying that when I first looked at your series, I mean, even before I usually look at the work before I even read the writing. I was like, wow, there's some beautiful photos, underwater photos here of these sea lions, right? I thought, I personally would like to see this collection with you said with additional marine life. So it looks like what you're doing is you're releasing one species or one marine life animal at a time, right? And that you have this kind of tier system in here, where let's read through the sort of artist statement. So, underwater wildlife's a multi-chapter collection showcasing the world's most incredible marine life. Each chapter in the collection will focus on a single marine animal. Subsequent chapters will be introduced at higher price points to boost floor price. I would nick that whole last sentence there. The subsequent chapters will be introduced at higher price points to boost floor price. I wouldn't. So you haven't even really sold many yet. I wouldn't even talk about boosting your floor price at this point, right? So I would honestly talk more. I mean, I'm only one opinion here. I would talk more about like what it feels like to be undersea, what the process like is like. I'm guessing you're putting on like scuba or snorkeling gear. I'm guessing scuba gear. What the process is like to get underwater. What it's like to use it. Is it meditative? What it's like to be around these sea lions? Are they playful? Are they aggressive? Like I think that the collectors want to hear like a beautiful story from you, rather than hearing about, okay, airdrops and raffles will take place after a chapter has sold out. So why is raffles taking place after the series has sold out? So you've only sold one. So maybe a better idea is to do a raffle. Like you start a Discord channel, and like the first 50 people that join your Discord channel are entered into a raffle to be whitelisted for one of your pieces. Like maybe build anticipation before rather than doing it after you sell it. Okay, and it says, and we'll include all holders from the collection. Get in early to get more loot. I don't like that sentence either. Sorry, I'm going to just be totally honest in this critique today. It sounds a little bit cash grabby to me. I think you should just get rid of this too. I think you should, in this whole part, you should just talk more personal about what it's like to be an underwater photographer. I want to know what it's like to be more. So chapter 1, silly sea lions, a 9-part chapter containing silly Australian sea lions. These adorable animals love to play, love nothing more than looking at the reflections in my lens of my underwater camera. Chapter 2 is going to be Majestic manta rays. So you're coming out with these different chapters right now. Can I ask, have you shot the manta rays already? It looks like you have a beautiful photo of a shark with all these little fish around it on your Twitter. I'm guessing you have a lot more pictures than just sea lions. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. The manta rays, I have some one-of-ones up on Foundation as well and on Tux, but the sea lions are in the collection, and yeah, I do have the manta ray shot sitting aside.
Okay, and so outside of manta rays and sea lions, you've got other sea life you've photographed as well?
Yeah, that's correct. Got some ragged tooth sharks and some other things along those lines.
Awesome. So for me personally, you know, I think you have a great eye. I think I really like this first one here with this light coming down. If I was to just do all sea lions like this, right? I'd want a little bit more dimension in the photograph. So like maybe because some of them are quite similar. Like this one here is quite similar to this one here, which is kind of quite similar to this one here and this one here. So they would really have to be in like strikingly different environments for me to continue to be engaged in looking at these. So, if that can't be achieved, then maybe it's a few of these that are really great. Like maybe this one really stands out to me. This one here with the 3, this one where he's kind of swimming sideways, and maybe it's the collection for me would be better or more compelling if there was sea lions and manta rays and shark and squid and all different type in one beautiful collection that was maybe a larger collection rather than trying to drop a collection of, because maybe some people really like sea lions. Maybe some people don't. Maybe they want to buy a manta ray and they don't even have the option to buy one right now. So that's where my head's at on this. I'd love to hear, and also, let's go over the perks real quick. Give perks. First collector will receive a fine art print. A bonus 1-of-1 NFT will be raffled upon the sale of the first chapter. A 1-of-9 NFT will be airdropped to holders upon sellout of the first chapter. It sounds like you really want to sell out the chapter before you give any of these perks. So I do think what you asked me here, you think you might have overdid it on the utilities. I have to agree. Dan, Dan Hawk, do you have anything you'd like to add to any of the stuff that I said, or
Sure.
how you feel about the series?
Well, first of all, I've known Ryan and I've been in some groups together for a while, so I also know that he has a really awesome collection of sharks that has done really well. So I think maybe there's a little bit of Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong here, but a little bit of a disconnect for why did the sharks do so well and why are the sea lions not doing well? I don't know if that's a thought process for you.
Yeah, I think that's part and parcel with it as well. This collection was built 3 months ago, and that was a much different time. The collections were very hot. People were screaming about utilities and expandability. That's what this was focused around, but we're in a much different time now. Collections aren't as hot. I'm looking for a way to revamp this and maybe try and get some more sales.
Yeah, well, and I think part of all the stuff Mike is saying makes a lot of sense to me. I agree with all of the utility stuff. People keep asking, in this server and in our other Discord servers that I'm in, about the idea of utility and airdrops and stuff like that. And I'm just going to be straight up. I think that an airdrop is a nice thank you, but I think trying to add utility to our photos, I'm kind of wondering if that's a thing that's kind of going away. And that perhaps having those things, it's a nice surprise when it happens, but tying that work to selling out the collection maybe isn't the greatest thing to do. And I say that having one of my collections with that exact promise that there's an airdrop when it sells out. I know that was a big popular thing 3 months ago, and I think that it's probably distracting, and it probably is a little bit of a distraction and a hang up for you as well. I kind of agree with Mike as well. I have really loved these photos. They're, the silly sea lions. Every time I see them, I have a little chuckle. I'm like, oh, those are really cute. I think that perhaps trimming it down to less images that are more unique, and maybe saying, are there a couple here that are a little too similar? That could be useful, but I also know that it's kind of like killing off your kids. It's not always easy to cull through your own work. And so my opinion would be, I think this collection would do well to be trimmed down a little bit. And maybe this is a little bit odd advice, but I almost wonder if it's time to trim back the sea lions, and then maybe it's time to add some other marine life.
I'm definitely not opposed to that. I've been told plenty of times that a collection needs to be concise and focused around a single thing.
Well, and I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Ryan. I think the issue, though, is that this collection is not specifically sea lions. It's underwater wildlife. And I just wonder if, as much as I love the sea lions, I wonder if the collection might be a little stronger if it had some more diversity.
Yeah, some more dimension to it. I mean, so you speak about like cohesiveness, right? And so I'm just going to jump over to this Singapore from below collection, right? And so this has a multitude of like different underwater. I mean, this is different, right? It's macro, right? So it has a multitude of different types of things that I'm looking at where I'm like, ooh, wow, this colors, and wow, that color, and what is this? And the difference to me is that it's sort of that it's almost, because we have the same blue colored background in this as well, and it's like I'd like to see maybe what do they look like at the surface? Maybe what do they look like when they're around a school of fish, or around like a wicked wild tree that's coming over one of them? Maybe they're mating, or some of these all seem very playful. And I think that still these sea lines, it matches that, but I think that after a while it gets a little bit repetitive. And my eyes want to see more. It's almost like I want a more full meal out of this series. And when I read the title and it says, underwater wildlife, I'm expecting to see a variety. Okay,
so what kind of sized collection would you think if I was to maybe halve the amount of sea lions and then bring in another, I don't know, 4 manta rays and 4 sharks or something along those lines, top it up to about 12? Do you think that would be a manageable size, or do you still think around the 10 or 8 or something along those lines?
Last week I was focusing on these small size series, and then I'm starting to see a lot of my friends start to sell out these series that have 75 and 100 in them. And so, and I think a lot of the fact that they're selling out a lot of those has to do with their level of marketing, because there's really levels to this when it comes to marketing. Like, they have full-on Discord channels. They hype with anticipation a month before. They whitelist friends, and they whitelist the first 30, 40 people that enter the Discord, and they sell it out. And so And so maybe every one of their images isn't strong out of 100, but they still garnish this ability to have form collectors. So there's that. But then let's say you're not marketing at that level, right? And let's say you have a series. So for instance, I have a series that I shot on the Staten Island ferry of commuters on the ferry, and I've shot it over the course of 7 to 10 years, right? So I could drop a series of 75 images because I could probably pull 75 really strong ones because I've worked on the series for so damn long. So my short answer to that is if every image is strong and you have 40 in the series, then fine. If every image is blowing people away or is great, then fine. But if you can't meet that, then make a shorter series. And don't worry so much about selling it out. I mean, sellout sounds nice, and you could post a tweet and say, hey, I sold out. And, some people are going to be hyped up for you and maybe they'll buy one piece of work from your next collection because your first one sold out. But I'd focus more on the journey of it and the building relationships with people around you and, working on a Discord and everything like that and just getting it out there. I worry less about the size, I'd say, right now, and worry about the quality of each image and how you can arrange these images so that it's not all sea lions on top of each other, and you don't have two manta rays next to each other, but you sort of can make it look really visually appealing. I would get into Adobe Bridge is really good for that. If you don't have Adobe Bridge, you can pull all of your wildlife stuff. Let's say you have your favorite 50. You could pull them in there, whether they're sharks, manta rays, sea lions, seahorse, whatever it is. You put them in there, and you can move the images around until you have a look that you really like. And a look is not just not having a sea lion next to a manta ray. It's also color relationships. It's like, do you want to put two yellow photos next to each other? Do you want to put a yellow photo next to a blue water teal photo where that color relationship is really strong next to each other? So I think there's a lot of aspects to think about, and maybe mint the series first before you list it and show us in MetaJungle, and we can get an idea of what it looks like. I hope that helps.
No, they've definitely given me a lot to think about. I guess one of the big limitations lately is that I've been focusing a lot more on community building opposed to shilling my own work. So building up the wildlife collective and trying to shine the light on wildlife in general in the NFT community, having a charity event and et cetera, and I haven't had a lot of time to focus on this particular series. So I look forward to revamping it, and as you suggest, I'll make some adjustments and bring it to you guys at MetaJungle, and see if I can put something more appealing out.
Cool, appreciate that, man. We definitely have to move on to the next photographer at this point, just because we're already at like 5:30. So, and not to say that I'm cutting this short at 2 hours. We're going to go through all the artists, but yeah, I think that between what me and Dan said, you have definitely some stuff to think about and work out there. And I appreciate you joining the AMA.
No worries. Thanks for your help, guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for submitting this stuff, Ryan.
Absolutely. So let's see, Tristan, Anish. Let's go. Let's talk about Tristan since he's at the top of the list here. So first off, congratulations to Tristan for being. We already said this, but for being featured as one of the featured photographers on OpenSea, which is huge because OpenSea is like the blue chip platform right now.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Is that Tristan speaking?
Yes.
Cool, man. Nice to speak with you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it was unexpected, and I was like, wow, that's amazing that you got on there. And then I was like, then I started seeing a couple of other people post that they got on there, and I was like, let me check OpenSea, and maybe I got on there, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm on there. Like I was just like, this is overwhelmingly, but it's great for everyone in the community. Like whether or not you got featured on that thing or whatnot, like there's a photography category on there now, and so like people are going to be more easily able to find us, and NFT photography is exploding right now. So I think a lot of people want to take a look at it. I think a lot of people are getting tired of seeing the same artists come into this space and try to make a new PFP project copying after CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, and it's just getting so saturated. So like, let's have our own category. It's awesome. So, so Tristan, the Rainforest Collection. So you live in Vancouver, and this place just looks. Oh man, this place just looks super beautiful. So, our local rainforests speak to me in a personal level. I truly feel at home when I'm wandering through a rainy, misty forest. The sights and sounds, especially smells, so enthralling and almost overwhelm the senses. I love that first paragraph. Reminds me of when I was in Montana, and just on these hikes, you just feel like everything is just nothing's on my mind except for going through the hike, and it's beautiful, and the smells and everything that you're kind of talking about. I've made my goal to artistically, uniquely document my experiences and the beauty of these places, which ranges from lush canyons, epic waterfalls, huge ferns, ancient trees, and more. A collection contains some of my favorite pieces. Hope you enjoy them, etc. They're all single one of one. So more information about your roadmap. So you have a roadmap. That's always exciting to see. Anyone who has a roadmap obviously is thinking, is forward thinking, right? And longevity in the space is a really important thing, right? Because when we're buying art from people, your work's absolutely beautiful, right? But it doesn't just stand on its own as being beautiful, right? When we're investing in people, when we're collecting or investing in artwork, we're not just buying pretty pictures, but we're investing in you as a person. So, we don't know that some people are just going to put out some pretty pictures and then just disappear. And then all of a sudden you're holding something. And for some people, it's not just about collecting and having a beautiful image. For some people, it's about, I want to invest in this person. I think that their floor price is going to go up over time. I think they're going to build within the community, and to see that you have a roadmap, I think that puts some trust in the collectors, for collectors. So including my intended donations to charities. You're donating to charity. That's amazing. Airdrops to collectors. So I really like all the stuff that I'm hearing here. Let's take a look at some of the photographs, right? So it's hard to critique someone that's, at the level of creating beautiful landscapes in these lush environments as you are. Like I can imagine walking through these environments, and I don't know any of them by me in New York, but geez, I'll say just from looking at it, a couple of like these two images right here, too similar to me, a bit too similar, right? So I noticed that in your series, right? These two images right here look too similar to me. So what that does, you get these rainbows, which I absolutely love this image. Like, let's open this up. A little slow internet here.
It's taking its time.
Oh boy, yeah.
That's a good point, though, and that's what I mean by it's nice to have another set of eyes kind of look at everything. Like, I never really thought about those being similar, but you're right.
Yeah, they're similar. I mean, and it's hard to let go of one, but look, I sat with a famous photo editor one day from New York Times, and she was straight up with me. And I had a series, and one of the photos that I thought was the most beautiful in the series, she pulled it out, and it upset me. But this is a long time ago. It upset me that she pulled it out, and she's like, "Put this one on your refrigerator." And I'm like, "Why? It's one of the best shots I've taken." And she's like, "Well, it doesn't fit the story, and you already have one that's similar." She goes, "Put it on the refrigerator." And I was like, "Okay, I get it. I get it. Like, this is a New York Times photo editor, and I'm not arguing with it." So like, sometimes you have another set of eyes. But this is not opening for me right now. I think so many people are probably flooding OpenSea right now with the news that's happening. But so if I were to buy, this, let's just talk hypothetically, this rainbow, which is really beautiful, I would feel less like I got a rare item, because this rainbow right here, which is also beautiful, is in the same series. So it's like, if this was the only one, I'd feel more, I'd feel more likely to purchase it, if that makes any sense, right? Because I feel like, oh, there's another one out there. Someone could have that one, and I figure out maybe which one. They're both beautiful in a different way, but they're so similar in a sense that it looks like it's the same rainbow from the same day, right? So maybe if you had a rainbow from a different day and a different location, that would make more sense to me. I really love some of these verticals that you got here, these trees. This is gorgeous. And so let me take a look at like what your questions were on here, actually, since I didn't even read over that. So basically, curious to hear thoughts on cohesiveness. I mean, it's very hard to not be cohesive, right, when you're shooting in a rainforest like this. So I would say for the most part, the work is very cohesive. But like I said, there's a lot of similarities in some of these, and I think that you just got to sit hard and long with yourself and say, which one is better. And if you want to kind of throw some images at me that are like duplicates to you, I mean, I'll give you my opinion on the one that I think would be better. And like, I'm just one set of eyes, so you might want to do that with a few people. Since back when you launched it, 30 seemed like a good idea, but you've been questioning it now for future collections. So getting back to like the number of the amount in a collection, I don't think matters if every shot is a banger. Like, if every shot hits, it's like, why have less? Because then if they're all gorgeous, then that's fine. If they all tell the same story, that's fine. But like I said, if you could trim down the fat on some of this, all right, and get rid of some of the ones that are too similar, then the viewer doesn't have to look and find as much to see, more beautiful images right in front of their eyes. And I still not open. I want to open this one. I love this last one so much too. I'm just having an issue with
Mike, can I jump in with something?
Yeah, please.
So Tristan, first of all, like Mike said, these are really beautiful. I mean, the location is just, otherworldly, and I can see why. I can see why you put together this collection. I completely agree with Mike that while I think these are all really beautiful, there's one criteria that I would use to cull down, and you could probably pull, I would guess, maybe 10 out of this by asking yourself, what is the subject in my photo? I think that you've got quite a few in here where there's a very clear subject. There's very clear leading lines that make it make sense. And there's other ones in here where it's really ethereal and it's really beautiful, but it doesn't really have a central place to direct your eye. And I think like a really good, or there's a couple of them that are really similar that have the same. And I think the big ones for me are number 12 and number 13. I think while I think they're very beautiful and they look like they're part of, maybe even they could almost be like part of a diptych or a triptych, to me those are just not as strong as almost any other piece in the whole collection. And it's because I just don't feel like while I see some cool leading lines, I don't see a clear subject, if I'm just being honest about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think see, here's the thing is like number 29 is a better version of those other photos. Like, to me, it has.
Dude, I wish that they would just put it in order.
Yeah, it's so hard to look.
Like, come on already,
Yeah, I'm like, where's 29?
I'm trying to find it. I guess this is the bad part of having a big series.
It's right there in front of you. You just passed it.
Oh, I did. All right. 30, 20, 29.
Yeah.
You're saying 29 similar to the other two that you just talked about?
I think it is, but I think it's a better version.
It is because look at the leaves in the front, how they're illuminated.
Exactly.
They're almost a subject to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a place where you can lean in. And I agree about some of the, like the two rainbow shots. Like, to me, I think the one with the waterfall is stronger. I think there's a more compelling story there. But overall, I think that if I were going to pick at it and say, what would I, if I were doing this, which I've tried to do on my own collections, I would go through and say, okay, which ones have the strongest message and subject, and then also step back and ask which one of these maybe look a little bit out of place. And I think you could find a couple in here where the color doesn't, while it's an interesting photo, maybe the color doesn't quite match the rest of the photos. Maybe the tonality is a little off. And maybe those could be, like, a good example, number 22, Sleepy Hollow. It's a very like grayish blue tint. And while I love the photo, I think it's really beautiful, I almost feel like that would be better in a different collection or as a standalone.
Yeah, I know. I kind of like doubted myself when I was adding that. I'm like, should I add a blue one when everything's mostly like green?
No, number 20 is, a couple over from there, and it has a blue, but it also has a really solid amount of green as well. And I think that one works a little better. So it's about balancing.
Yeah.
And then if I'm going to I'll give you a positive. Number 27 is gorgeous and has like the most clear subject
Oh my God, yeah.
vibe of this. Like, that one to me is almost like a centerpiece that just kind of shows what this could be. And to me, the subject is super clear on that one.
Awesome,
Well,
thank you. Yeah, it's good to have your guys' input.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd like to jump to the next artist just because I think that, look, I think you know exactly what to do now. I think you're a phenomenal landscape photographer, and I think that's really. Let's look at one thing real quick though. So you have 5 owners. How much of the collection have you sold out with 5 owners? Is it, sometimes people?
Yeah, so there's 3 sales. One person has one because of a giveaway they won, so there's 4 other owners.
Okay, so then that's a little bit more to talk about then. So how long ago did you drop the series?
Oh, geez, that was months ago now. I can't remember.
Okay,
Feels
so
like forever.
months ago, phenomenal work, and only a couple of sales. So what have you been doing to get the information out about the collection? Do you have a Discord? Did you have? This is given an idea. Do you have a Discord about rainforests? What if you had a Discord, Tristan Todd's Discord on rainforests, and you can have other photographers that shoot rainforests from different national parks and stuff come in there and share photos. Now you're building an army behind you of people that you could hold contests in there for the best rainforest shot can get whitelisted to your next drop, or can get a POAP or something, or one of these. Like, I think you got to think in a new multi-dimensional way of marketing, and I'm learning this myself right now. Like, my initial drops, I just kind of like dropped them and then went on Twitter and said like, hey, I dropped this, and like I have 500 Twitter followers, and like I'm hoping it's gonna sell. And it's like now I'm seeing some of my friends, like my buddy Jeremy Cohen, who just dropped Rooftops, my buddy Dave Krugman, who dropped Drive, and like they have a marketing team that's running their Discord that basically is helping with, like, they had so Jeremy had stuff like the first 100 people that join my Discord, 30 of them will be entered into a raffle to be whitelisted, and then he didn't drop the whole 75 at once, so he only dropped, they'll be whitelisted for the first 20 that get dropped, and then it builds a super anticipation 1 month out, and then all these people that feel whitelisted like, oh wow, I'm going to get in at 0.25 ETH, and then he whitelisted 20 of his own personal friends, and then auctioned off 15 of the ones that he thought were the best. So now you have tiers to it, where it's like the people that won the raffle thing from joining the Discord, they're saying in their head, well, I want to buy one for 0.25, because if there's going to be an auction, the auction is going to sell the other ones for a higher price. And he's sold out. And I was lucky enough to get two. My girlfriend got one, so collectively we have three of them, and I'm going to hold on to them for a while, because I look at him as an investment, because I mean, first of all, he's got a huge following. He's an amazing person. He gives back to the community. He's he did it right the first time. This was his first drop, and he teamed up with a marketing team, and he did it right. And I see longevity in it. And I think longevity is a big thing in the space right now, where look, if we go through a crypto bear market, like something we've seen in the past, like a crypto winter, a lot of artists are just going to fall off the map and just go away. So, like, who are the artists that are going to stick around for the long haul? You might want to place your bets there. So what I'm saying is, like, start thinking about maybe why the collection with such beautiful images like this has not sold more, and what you could do more, either to build community around this rainforest type landscape photography. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, let's definitely move on to someone next on the list. Let's see who we got. Sorry, I'm just looking here. So it's so we have Manishm, Mannishm. Is that how you say? I don't know if that's how you say it. I'm sorry, I butchered some of the names here. So it says the question: sharing my collection for the next AMA feedback session. This is a collection which I made in collaboration with three other photographer friends. Need advice on a couple of aspects. So it looks like it's a collaboration of 4 people. One, in the collection, cohesive and comes together in that theme that we are aiming for? Question mark. Do we need to trim down the collection? Are the descriptions good enough, or they need to be more elaborate? And then, do the traits that I have used in the collection add much value? Would love to get some feedback. Thanks. Okay, let's take a look. I believe the collection is it light? Yeah, lights and shadow. Right. I believe I got the right collection. Is the artist here?
No, I couldn't find them.
That's fine. So, okay, so let's take a look. So I'm just going to read over the. Well, first of all, before I read over the artist statement, I looked at the photographs from afar. I'm like, wow, these are pretty tremendous photographs of wildlife. Like, you can kind of, before you even click on some of them, you can tell, like, wow, and they look really beautiful. A lot of them are golden hour lit. They definitely have a mood. They're storytelling, pretty beautiful pieces. So, but then I read the artist statement, and let's read it. So, Light and Shadows is a collaboration between 4 friends and wildlife photographers who are passionate about exploring the creative side of wildlife photography. So this is from my own perspective, guys, and I don't want to hurt the sales or anything, but for me, collecting, I would be skeptical in collecting from a collaboration of 4 people that have created these images, just because of something that I was just talking about, longevity in the space. Like, how do I know that all 4 of these people are going to stick together and continue to make projects? Like, I need to know more about them. What they do? They have a Discord. What have they done in the community? I want to know what each, like, I want to know more about each of them. So let's go into the next paragraph. It is a collection of fine art wildlife images as one-of-one NFTs, which consist of images taken with the creative use of natural light. Okay, they have some select qualities that help to make them successful. Adding an element of artistry to the shot. One of those is the emotion that the image conveys. It doesn't really matter which emotion, but the goal is to make the photo be engaging. So that paragraph to me is really needs work, because first of all, I feel like you're telling me how to feel about the photographs. You're telling me that they're successful. Let me, as the viewer, figure out whether or not I feel that they're successful. You're saying it and adding an element of artistry to the shot. I don't really know what that means. One of those is emotion that the image conveys, but then you're telling me that it doesn't really matter which emotion. Why don't you talk about more about the emotion that the four of you have when you're going out and photographing these photographs, and what what wildlife images mean to you, and are some of these endangered, and what the story behind some of them is. I don't really want to be told how to feel about something. I want to know how you feel about it. So that's what I feel about the artist statement. I would really help you with this. And you got four people, right? So I think you guys could come together and come up with a reason to why you're out there making these, and how it makes you feel, like, right? So I mean, hopefully OpenSea is going to let me open some of these right now. Is OpenSea working for you, Dan? If it is, maybe we can switch. Maybe you could switch screens or something, and you can open up his work. I mean, this might even be more up your alley, right? You're like a landscape photographer yourself.
Well, I will say that okay. So I'm not really a wildlife photographer. I take some pictures of animals when they present themselves. But the big thing, I agree with what you're saying about the four artists. But I also know that, like, hey, this is kind of unique. Maybe it has a place. I don't know. The big thing for
Explain
me,
that.
well,
Mhm.
so okay, so there's been a lot of talk about collaboration in the space. There's been artists who have done cool things where, like, somebody makes the music and somebody takes the photos and somebody else makes the graphic animation. So we're okay with that. I think as an NFT world, collaborations have been okay. And I think maybe what you need is a more compelling story to talk about why these four photographers work together, to talk about what their relationship is like, why they go where they go, who takes what photos, what they focus on. I think if there's a compelling enough story, then it can make sense in terms of.
Absolutely.
Um, if I'm So when I'm looking at the imagery, I see some really consistent things. I see these backlit golden hour silhouettes, and I really like those. And then I see photos like this that don't match. And what I think I would like to see, I mean, it's, first of all, it's a fairly big collection. How big is it? We got 42 items. So when I'm looking through these, I see a lot of really great, compelling images like this here, of this tiger, of this lion, catching a meal, of this bird here. These here, I think these are great, but to me, the standout, the ones that are most compelling, are these backlit silhouettes.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, as much as I like this image, to me, they don't speak as strongly of a compelling body, of a consistent body of work.
Yeah, like those deers on the left. That's really interesting to me. It almost looks like not even a photograph, but like like a digital animation or something, which
Yeah,
I find to be pretty cool. And then the
exactly.
birds.
Yeah, look at these guys here. I mean, this is cool. And I think you can get away with it some, like this one. I think this one still works with them.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's maybe even it's a standout version of those. And this here is great. But what I would probably do is I would cull this down quite a bit. And the only other thing that I would maybe throw out there, because I would want to hear it myself. I think there's a few of these that maybe don't quite pass, and it's interesting because this one is actually sold, and I think this is one of the weaker images in the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because I don't like giraffes. Giraffes are cool. it just feels like there's some technical things that are maybe not quite right in here. It feels to me like maybe the focus isn't quite right. It's sharp edges, but it's almost like just a little bit too, it's too crisp. Like I want to see a little bit of more dimensionality.
Yeah, there's something about a story that's a little missing for me in this one, where the other ones have a bit more of a meat and potatoes to them than this.
It's not as dynamic. And I think that's maybe the thing. I don't feel like it's going anywhere. So I would just probably revisit and look through, because here's the thing. This is like some of these are really dynamic and really interesting, but some of them just aren't. And that being said, they're all really beautiful, but I just don't know that they fit quite as well.
But listen, there's 4 photographers taking them. So it's very hard for them to be, you know what I'm saying? So is it one photographer that's doing all the silhouette ones like this? Because if it is, then what happens? You know, so it's like I want to know the story between the photographers. I want to know their backgrounds, like what each one of them is adding to this to make this possible.
Yeah,
you know. Because this photographer right here looks completely different. This must be a different photographer than the one of the ones who shot the silhouette. Maybe not, but from the way I see it, it says it right here.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's a trait that's been added.
They're splitting the commissions 4 ways. It looks like collaboratively.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a way to, like, you can look at which pieces are made by Devondra, right?
Yeah. How did you do that? It filtered.
I just clicked on the trait. So if I kill the trait, it shows me everything. And then I should be able to go over here. Oh, here it is, photographer.
So who's doing all the silhouettes? Let's see.
Well, so Rahul has the most photos in there. Not as much silhouette. A few. In fact, my favorite in the whole series.
Which one is that?
This one here.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. Wow, I didn't even see the tiger coming down from the tree.
Yeah. It's called Leopard's World. It's a really cool shot.
It's those small details in an image that bring an image from great to exceptional.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's a really beautiful piece of work, right? Let's go. We'll turn off.
I like this. This is why I wanted you to co-host, because this is something that I wouldn't have went into. This is great.
Good. This one's been spending time with the water, with the birds on the water.
That's with these misty sort of looks. I like it.
There's your
yeah. I do really like if you go up the third one, if you click it open fully.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if it fits in the series, but I like how
sorry about that.
I like how there's so many of these ducks or geese or whatever, but the ones on the left kind of have the story because they're truly illuminated by the sun. So there's some it's not the best image in the series, but I don't know, it stood out to me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that and we got one more. We got one more photographer to look at.
All right, let's look at him.
And that would be Manish, who is in our group.
Ooh,
and
to me, silhouette guy here. His silhouettes. Yeah. These might be my favorite.
They're so consistent,
They are. They are.
Even the one I said I didn't love as much works well in this small collection.
It does. Mm-hmm. And he has the least amount of photos too. But there's something about these that all fit. I wouldn't pull one of these from this set. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. So I think my feedback on this one really is, if you're going to work as a group, make that a compelling story. Of why you're working together. Your childhood friends, our neighbors, have been for years. You always shoot together. Those kinds of things. You make that a compelling story, and then really pull through these and make sure that you could probably lose. I always hate to tell people you have to get rid of images, but I think you could tighten this up a lot, and pull out a few that are maybe go make them one of ones. Put them on foundation because they're great, but they don't fit this collection.
Awesome feedback, Dan. The photographers are not in here, right? None of them.
I don't think so. Well, I think one of them may have mentioned it's like 3 a.m. over there right now.
Okay, well, they should watch the recording. So I think we gave them a lot of great advice. I think we should move on to the next, just because you know we got quite a few more.
What's
I guess.
Oh,
Go ahead. Why do you have everyone pulled up here? Are you asking me who's the next one, or
No, I don't have them all pulled up, so I'll let you tell me.
Yeah. I have. Let's see. We would have Solo Runner 2901. Need advice on 1, pricing, 2, promotion channel, which is the right one. Description of the pieces, if anything needs to change. So Solo Runner. Let me see who that was.
I can probably find them too. I'm just going to scroll back through here.
Yeah. By the way, guys, on the Discord, go onto your Discord profiles and please add the links to your Twitter in there and the links to your OpenSea. There's a way to do that, because sometimes I have to pull up all the Twitters and all the OpenSeas, and sometimes I have to go searching for you guys on Twitter and stuff. But if you just put that information in Discord in the notes section, you could add your links.
Okay, here we go. Light in the Dark Wild.
Okay, cool. That sounds great. Let's check this out. Okay. Did you want to talk on this, or do you want me? I mean, I did study this one a bit.
Yeah, I would say go ahead. I did not study this one that.
All right, so scroll up first. Let's read the artist statement. All right, Light and Dark Wild is a collection of 6 images. So first of all, there's only 4 images in here, so you got to edit that to 4 images, right? Placed on the Ethereum blockchain. I think you could nick that. I don't think you need to tell us that. And I think anyone involved in this knows that it's on the Ethereum blockchain, of species which are categorized as vulnerable and endangered. So my problem so far is that you don't have many species in here, right? So it's like it looks like mostly tigers. So the images try to show is this tigers or long? Yeah, tigers, right? Well, that's a leopard, I guess. Okay.
Lion on this one. First one's a lion.
Okay. Well, that's my ignorance in knowing about wildlife. That guy looks like a small-headed owl. I have no idea. So, all right. You go back to the artist statement. Let's see. I want to read the rest first. These images try to show the community that there's always hope, even in the darkest times, for these magnificent creatures. These photos have been captured by Subu, me. I don't know about speaking in third person, and then putting in parentheses me, in India and Africa, and then putting in parentheses so far. I think we could edit this and make it nicer. Subu is a wildlife photographer and enthusiast striving to spread awareness about endangered and vulnerable species of the world and the importance of their conservation. All right, so let's go to the photos. So the first thing I notice is that I really respect his ability to get this close to like these ferocious looking animals, but I can't help but notice that there's a lot of Photoshop usage in the images that kind of take away from it for me. Like if you want to make the series about these species in the dark, then either maybe 1, shoot at night, or 2, brush up a little bit on the Photoshop. Not in this image in particular. Go back, please. Not in this image in particular, but like go to the 4th one, the last one there. So and open that up, and it feels like a shot that was taken in the day, and like you just really use the brushes to just darken out everything, and and you made I don't mean to be insulting. You made the tiger, the tiger to seem fake almost. There's a lot of light around the eyes. The ears look like they've been a little messed up through like some Photoshop, like what's that, a clone stamp tool. And maybe you don't have to go through with all of that post processing. I pull up his Instagram.
So you can find it.
Yeah. He's got a Twitter, and I went on his Instagram, and I noticed that there's a lot of shots in there that that don't have that quality of like.
What's his handle?
Let me see if I got it on mine. I have his Twitter, and then on his Twitter I went right to his Instagram. I think. Hold on. So
maybe we should go back to your screen. I think it might work better.
well, if you want to go real quick, it's travel with Subu, TRAVEL with SUBBU, and let's look at some of these. If you have a problem, so there's some of them in here that I'm like, wow, that I don't necessarily understand why you pick the ones for the collection when there's some in here that I think, well, this one here, I gotta be honest with you, I looked at this at first and I was like, wow, this is beautiful, but then look by the ears and look by the hair, and you can tell that there's a lot of photoshopped work there. Like maybe there was a rock behind the lion, and there's just hair cut all. He has his hair, so he got his hair cut and his ears bit cut. So maybe revisit the image and brush up on some of your Photoshop skills to make it feel like less edited, But some of these other ones don't seem edited in that, and and maybe it's just me. I don't like heavily edited documentary work, and especially if I can tell that it is. Let me see what his questions were.
He was asking, is the collection cohesive and comes together in the theme? Actually, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Need advice on 1, pricing, 2, promotion channel, which is the right one, and 3, description of the pieces if anything needs to change.
That was Solo Runner, right? Okay, pricing. All right, what is his pricing? First of all, guys, understand that it's difficult to give advice on pricing, but if you are very new to the space, then anything over 1 ETH is a tough. Okay, 0.09. I'm not going to say anything about the pricing. It's not, that's not crazy high. I think the editing is a bit inconsistent though in these. Like the first shot. So you got the last 2 shots, and they're heavily contrasted with super dark backgrounds. You got the first 2 that have, it looks like the shadows pulled up. Like they're so. You talk about cohesive in the aspect that they're wildlife, but not cohesive in the editing process for sure.
Right. What I feel like I'm seeing here, and now that as I'm looking through here, I didn't realize as soon as I saw the picture of the bird, Subu was actually in. I had a space last week, and he showed his work in that space, and was a super sweet guy, and we had a great conversation. I did ask him about, are you shooting these at night? And he said, well, some of it's, kind of it's evening, but I think I gave him kind of the same. I don't know that I gave him feedback because he wasn't asking for it, but my feedback will be the same exact thing. It's that these feel like they've been pushed. The backgrounds are too dark. And this is one of those things that's, I think, really important when you think about, there's nothing wrong with Photoshop. What you need to consider is that if you're going to do composites, if you're going to heavily edit your environments, you need to think about lighting. You need to think about where the light is coming from. And in these cases, there's very bright light reflecting in the animal's eyes with these super dark backgrounds, and that just doesn't look natural. It looks like a daytime shot imposed into a nighttime environment.
Perfectly said, and that's exactly how I felt about it. Perfectly said. So if you Photoshop with your images, I kind of don't want to know unless it's like a mixed media type thing. If it's documentary, I say just put in the time on YouTube or whatever any of or take a class to really learn how to do these this work in Photoshop where less is more, and it doesn't feel like you said with the lighting. That last image with the tiger, that there's just all these spread out lights all over his face. I have no idea where it's coming from. It kind of feels just really, really fake to me. And the ones on the Instagram of the tigers are just a lot more appealing to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I really like it's a very noble cause and a reason to be doing this work. And my question for Subu would be to ask yourself this question: what type of imagery, what way of presenting these images will be the most appealing from a conservation standpoint? And I would argue that these versions of your photos are maybe a little bit too fantastical. You're pushing it a little farther away from what people who care about conservation want to see. And it's not to say you should change your art for the audience. It's to say, if you're going to present this as a body of work that is meant to help bring awareness and help raise funds or do things to help these animals, presenting them in a more natural environment is probably going to connect better with the right kind of audience.
Really well said. That was well said. And
I'll say this as well. I got one more thing to throw out there. For anybody who's looking at this particular work, look up. There's another photographer, and you just write this down. He's in this space, but hasn't minted a lot of work. There's a gentleman named Ben Murphy, and he's based in Seattle, and he does a lot of portraits like this, mostly taken at the Seattle Zoo. And his work is really, really gorgeous, and he managed to pull off these dark portraits, but it looks totally natural.
You know what's interesting is that I was speaking with Ben Murphy yesterday in timepieces. So yeah, he's a great guy.
I know Ben pretty well. We actually had a podcast together for like the last year, so we've talked.
That's amazing. Yeah, it looks like he's working for Time Magazine now in the NFT sector, and we had a little chat, and then I looked at some of his work after, and I was like, whoa, this guy is making some brilliant wildlife stuff. So
I throw that out there because it's a similar style, and I think that looking at how he does it might give you some inspiration, Subu, if you're looking for some thoughts on how to present this work or what that next step would look like from a technical standpoint.
So Shutterholic, I wanted the collection photos to be diverse. Let's just open them up first. Do you remember Shutterholic, what their name is? I don't know which their name was on.
That I don't, but I can look.
Okay, let's find this out. Let me see.
Although you're in there, aren't you, Shutterholic? You're in the.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the series called?
It's called Vivid India.
Got you, Vivid India. Boom. And I actually got you open right here. All right, Vivid India is a photo NFT collection by Archit Sharma. Did I say that right? I think I did. Archit Sharma. Nice. All right.
You're right.
Got you. All right. Collection of 14 one-of-one photographs from India. Vivid India is an ode to India's diverse and colorful culture as a symbolism to the same diversity. It consists of 14 completely different photos with a genre bending mix of landscape, streets, and architecture, only binded by the fact that they are all from India and super colorful. Okay. You could take off that last L on colorful there. Just need one. And I looked through these, right? And there's some really standout shots in here. But there's some other ones that hide the standout shots from me. And I actually opened the folder for you. And these were the standout ones for me. Let's see if I can open them. We'll just go through. So you guys can see this?
Yep.
So I thought these are the standout ones. I really love this one. Like, the architecture there's so much detail in the architecture here. The light coming through, the shadow. Love the woman and her own little story standing off there. Your composition, excellent. This is another beautiful one here. The lighting, just the match lighting illuminating up this guy's face, and you see this water in the background, and there's all these little lights. It's a gorgeous shot. I love the paint party here you got going on. Nice colorful paint party. I'm not sure how this can tie in with some of these other ones. Do love it as a shot. This one here I really liked too. I definitely like the architecture, the dimension. I like how it's like leading out into this like window here that has like, it looks like nature out there. I don't know if this image is missing something from me. When I was looking at it with my girlfriend, she said she liked it a lot in the architecture. She felt like something was missing. So I'm a little on the fence with that one. But yeah, those were the ones that stood out to me. Like, this is really interesting. Like, making pottery here or something. The colors are gorgeous. I kind of like how her face is hidden by this. The baby blue background against the pinks and purples. Really storytelling shot. I love how you can see the motion and the spinning of this. And this is this beautiful detail on this clay or whatever it is that they use to make this. I would think that it's clay, but I'm a little ignorant when it comes to that type of. But yeah, so these are the standout ones to me. And even just looking through, I don't necessarily know maybe how this one fits. I do like it. It's a gorgeous, colorful shot. Let's look at what the site has here. So if you see, I pulled some out of here, the ones that I really thought I liked. I think you have a better version of something like this with your architecture. Yeah, OpenSea doesn't want to work for me again. This shot here seemed a little dark, and I don't think it was as good as the rest. This landscaped one, I didn't really know what the clear subject was in this one, and this one here just it didn't hit quite as well as the other verticals. The same with these two here. So for me, it's really more about this beautiful architecture here and this man with his hair and a few others. So I think that you can definitely use an edit down on some of the work here, but I definitely think that you know how to make some really really beautiful photographs, and I would like to know a little bit more about you, maybe in your bio. You have anything in this, Dan, you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on with picking out the ones that are stronger. And if I were gonna, I think there's a couple things that kind of hit for me that make what you're saying make sense. And it's that a good example will be like the one with the palace with the steps with the three spires with the blue sky. It's on the far right hand on the top.
Oh, up here, yeah.
Yeah. To me, this is one of those where if you were to compare this with, say,
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like one of them's taken with no offense. It looks like that one's taken with your cell phone or something. It looks more like a snapshot. It's a little bit crooked. There's this like sign. I can't open it, but there's like this sign over here. And then this shot is just like absolutely phenomenal. It looks really well thought out. it seems like you have a lot of skill, and this is just too easy for you. And this one's just too easy for you. And this one's just too easy for you. And when you nail the ones that are not too easy for you, like those are the ones that are compelling and that I want to see. I want to see you put a story together with those.
Well, and I have a thought on this about part of why that is. The shot, the one I just pointed out with the blue skies and the heavy shadows, that shouldn't be shot. Like, to me, it feels like it's shot with too wide angle of the lens.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that is, I think it's good to understand that while you're trying to be super, be careful there with your MetaMask, man. We're streaming.
Yeah, I know. I think this is why it's not letting me open things though. So
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah. Maybe now it'll let me like open
basic
this.
reminders.
Yeah.
That photo, to me, one of the things that I'm noticing is the ones that are really powerful, you've used focal length in a way that's really powerful. That interior with the orange and red tones and that bright sunlight, like there's something about that just works. It works because it's this wide angle, it's open and vibey and cool. And that shot with the bluebird skies, the light is super harsh, but it ends up making everything kind of flat. And if you're using a wide angle lens, like a super wide angle, to make the clouds do some cool things in the sky and like add dimensionality, that will be interesting. But this doesn't have any of that. And because of that, it just looks like kind of boring, flat sort of light.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the things that's interesting is to really work through and the idea of these, which ones does the light work well in and which ones does it not work well. Like Castle on the Hill is also, like, I could see how it could be interesting, but it's just too dark. It's too dark to fit. And the color feels like it doesn't work as well because the color is just not quite as.
Yeah. Very dark image.
So let me lean into something that you had actually asked about. You asked about, you wanted it to be as diverse as possible, to be an ode to India's diversity. Some people have said it's confusing, and I think they're right. It's confusing because there are some images here where, like, if I'm looking through there, the one I just mentioned, Castle on a Hill, Bubblegum Sunrise, these don't have a super clear subject. So it feels like in some ways you've leaned in on the color a lot, but you don't really have a compelling subject that makes the photograph that interesting. And that's not the case with royalty. Like, royalty it's an interesting subject. It's just that the light is kind of wrong. And I think the focal length might be wrong too, to really show it off.
Completely agree on all that. Yeah. So I think this is just an editing down. I think you're
Totally.
Yeah, great photographer.
There are some fantastic shots here. There's just
Yeah.
a few too many, I think. And I mentioned focal length. I think that the colors, the one with the paint festival, I think that one is also a focal length problem. I think that it feels out of place with the other ones because it's too close. You're too close up compared to all the other brilliant images. I kind of want to see more vertical. I want to see more of what's going on up above.
Mm-hmm.
Get more context.
But that might work as a one-on-one on Foundation or something.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think.
But you're in here, Shutteraholic. What do you think? Do you have any thoughts on this?
So yeah, thank you first of all, Mike and Dan. Compliments coming from both of you definitely means a lot. And like, I started minting this collection when I was pretty new to the NFT scene. I probably joined the community on Twitter and probably Discord somewhere in July. And then I started minting some of this stuff back in September. And I think in between, things really changed up. People were saying you need to add more stuff and that. So I kind of, put in some photos that I was definitely not really into, just to kind of, make the collection more diverse and to add more items. But I completely, kind of get your point of view as two people, kind of looking at this work. And yeah, definitely some images definitely stand out and some of them don't. So I'm definitely going to, go over it and like take some pictures out and only keep the best ones in there and like make a solid collection of around like 9 to 10 photos.
And you said it yourself. You said that you kind of knew, and there's photos that weren't really you didn't really feel like they belonged there. You just felt like you were trying to hit a number. Trust yourself.
I was just going to say exactly that. It's like, don't try to keep up with current trends or what people are trying to tell you to do. Like, this is Web 3 now. Like, let's leave that in Web 2, right? Because we've seen this with Instagram where I knew a lot of amazing photographers that were really making compelling work. And then a lot of their work turned into pictures of their legs hanging off of the Grand Canyon and out of a helicopter, and then pictures of them holding a girl's hand while there's a landscape in the background. And they wanted to like appeal to this audience that was like very Instagram like, right? And so understand that there's really no rules to any of this stuff. You're the artist, it's your vision. If you feel like you're adding something in there that doesn't resonate with you, then don't expect it to resonate with anyone else. And stick to these tight edit downs. You're a great photographer. I'm looking forward to see more and more amazing images from you. Get out there and shoot more. And add to this, add to this series that you're doing here, because it's really beautiful, and you got some great stuff in that. And thanks for coming to the AMA.
Let me add one thing, a quick thing. Mike, you mentioned the golden light photo, the last one in the series, and how your girlfriend said she really liked it. You were like, I like it, but it feels like something's missing.
Yeah, she said it feels like something's missing, and then
okay,
and then I felt maybe she's right. Maybe there's something that is, but I don't know. There's something also that I do like about it empty. I don't know.
So Shutteraholic, I want you to hear this and know that I struggle with this as well. I think you've got a couple pieces in here that you would step it up by a good 20% in terms of quality if you made sure that it was symmetrical and it was lined up in the middle. And this photo, I feel like if you had taken 2 steps to the right, you'd have an absolute killer shot. I feel like this is pretty good. Like it does have some weight. It's really nice. It'd be so much better if it was lined up.
He could just go back there and do the same shot at the same time of day. It's not like there's a subject in there, right? So just go do it again.
So some of this is not helpful for editing your current work, but it's good to just know as you begin to piece these things together, try to remember to take the step back and go, okay, if I don't get to come back here, how do I get it right the first time?
Great points.
Absolutely get it. And yeah, I kind of like had 25, 30 pictures from there, and I was like, struggling through my PC trying to find the right one. And you're absolutely spot on right there, Dan. I literally struggled, kind of editing while I was just trying to fit in the symmetry right. And yeah, I definitely struggled. So yeah, you're right. What's wrong with this shot? And as Mike said, I've definitely gonna go there again and try taking a perfect shot. Just thank you guys. Thank you so much for doing this and giving this awesome feedback.
Yeah, you bet. And when you do it, line up what my eye wants to see. I want those pillars to be vertical, to be straight up and down in the front of the frame. Try that. See if you can make that happen.
I want to talk about one last thing before we just end on that, is that there's no owners. No one bought any. So, and how long ago did you drop the series? Because there's some beautiful images here, right? So to see that there's no owners, that hurts. It can be, it could put a dampening on us when we're not getting any sales and we don't know why. When did you put the series down, and what did you do in terms of, trying to build a community of people around your work and stuff like that? I'd like to hear a little bit about like how you, I don't like to use the word marketing. It kind of seems like, how did you build relationships with people and try to get your work seen? Well, what did you do?
So basically, when I joined in July, I tried joining spaces, talking people about my work, and kind of like try to get seen. And then I slowly started minting this collection all through October, and I guess minted it back somewhere around 25th of November. And after that, I have not been really active on Twitter or Discord. So yeah, I definitely know that I have not promoted this collection too well, but I definitely have some collectors following me and some people following me as well, with good reach on Twitter. So yeah, they have definitely retweeted. I have tried to show this some Discord channels and Twitter as well. So yeah, but definitely I was looking forward to like get some feedback, and like now I've just did, I'll be kind of editing this collection out, making it more perfect, and like then I can get out there and promote it with more confidence.
Sure. So you just said it yourself. You kind of took a break from it, and that's one of the biggest things here is like even the best photographers or artists in the world can put their work on OpenSea and it'll just sit and won't do anything there. And it's like for me lately, man, like I quit my corporate job and like this has become a full-time job for me. Like I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm I'm doing the AMAs, I'm in Discords. So it's you'd be surprised at some of the sales I got and how I got them. Sometimes it's just that I post something and say, hey, you know, I made a post the other day. I make the best photographs when I'm out by myself. When I'm in a group with people, I become distracted, and it's not, and I can't get into a meditative flow state. And then all of a sudden, all these photographers start responding, and it's just one tweet, and it's just like spider webbing out into all these different people. And then I found this one guy and his story, and he's like he's a Bored Ape holder, and he's like he's been in crypto for like 5 or 6 years, and he's a super big name in this. And I didn't even know, but I looked at his profile because he responded on there, and I read his story about he has millions of dollars, but his child has like a terminal illness, and like how all the money that he has nothing to do. It means nothing that he would give away all of his earnings from crypto to make his kid healthy again. And I just like read his story, and I kind of just quote retweeted it and said like, this is an amazing story. It brought me to tears, and no amount of money can replace love. And then all of a sudden, he's just on my photograph from Foundation. He said, "A bid has officially been placed on your item." Like so, like it's crazy. Like when people think marketing has to be, you see all these threads like drop your NFT here, like collectors are watching, or I have 5 ETH, I want to buy NFTs today, and I've never got a sale from posting in any of those things. All of my sales, for the most part, have literally been human connection with people where we've connected we're not even in person, where I've just said something to them and they said something to me, and we both felt something real from each other, and they just decided to check out my work and buy it. So just be more active, and I shifted the focus, like I said, from myself to other people, showcasing other artists, and just being concerned about other people in this community, because like we're all in this together. This is a true evolution for artists right now, a true revolution that's happening where, man, we could live off of our artwork. We could, like, my dream has always been to be able to travel the world and you know uh, not have to worry about not having the money to do that, and see and be immersed in different culture. And right now we're able to do that, and it's really beautiful. So anyone who's involved in this space is a friend of mine. So I'm building relationships every single day with a multitude of different people that are involved here. When I created my Twitter, I only added people that were artists who were involved in Web3 NFT, because, especially when I went to Miami, the difference between going to an NFT event and a regular event was a one-dimensional conversation versus a three-dimensional conversation about real, true pioneers in the industry in Web3 right now that are changing the world. So just being kind to people, it can be your marketing alone. So don't feel discouraged about not having a sale for a certain amount of time. I hadn't gotten a sale in the last 2 weeks or so because I was away. I went to Miami to the NFT art shows. I wasn't on Twitter much. I went to Joshua Tree. I made photographs out there. I was making my work at that time. So and then when I got back, I started to feel a little bit of like, man, is this just a one-time thing where people bought from me and now it's done? And it was only 2 weeks, and I just want to say, man, patience and consistency. Be good to people, be kind to people, and all the blessings are going to come to you. Okay, that's all I have on that.
Yeah, so like just last closing words, Mike. So ever since I've been on Twitter since July, I have been trying to do the same thing. I've been posting my GMGN tweets. I've been posting tweets relating to my photography and been interacting with other people. And I think that's the best way to market yourself. And I have this close group, like friend people who are photographers, and I'm like kind of, because I really love their work, I'm just kind of trying to get eyes on their work, and they're in return, I'm not expecting it, but that happens. Like when you put out some other people's work out, they do the same for you, and that's how it's working. And that's what I want to do. I like want to get sales, but I want them to be real organic. I don't want to do some shady stuff or like, like really put myself out there under collector's tweet, like buy from me and all that. So yeah, it's going great, and I think I'm already on the way that you're telling. So yeah, looking forward to hopefully
Yeah,
making sales that way only. And
yeah,
yeah,
you're
like
on.
thank you.
You're on the right path. You're here. You've come back. You scheduled to come into the AMA. I think you're great for being here and getting on the mic and talking. Not a lot of the artists even come up and talk. I'm generally invested in your well being, and I want you to do well. So you're on my radar. And if you need any help, you can hit me up through DMs. I'm here to help you out. The thing you said about showcasing other artists' work, I used to have this mentality where, I would think, well, why am I going to retweet people that are, that are artists that, are as good as me or might be better than me? Or like, I used to think like these people are competition to me. And that mindset is so flawed. It's so flawed in a universal way. And you begin to realize that because once I really started just showcasing other people and how great they were, especially I came on, I had 500, I only came on Twitter a month ago, and I had 400 followers, and I start retweeting some people and talking about how fantastic their work was. I didn't even look at their follower count, and then they started retweeting me, and they had like 100K followers, and then boom, everything started. A momentum just started to happen, and everything started to build for me. It's like I went away from this attitude about this people are competition to me, or I'm envious, or I'm jealous, to no, we're all in this together, and we could all succeed, and it is not competition.
Yeah, completely agree, Mike. And yeah, there's you, there's Dan, there's Erwin, there's Mustafa. There's so many photographers in the room right now that I totally look up to and would love to obviously support. And also, I see that I've taken a lot of time, and there are other people waiting in the room for feedback. So yeah,
For
thank you
sure.
guys once again.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. All right, so we have Kids of Kinshasa. I wanted to make sure I said that right. Kids of Kinshasa, and that is by. Let's see. I wrote this down. So many artists today.
That one's Devrin Usta.
Yeah, I got him right here. Devin Usta. Okay, Devin Usta. see. All right, so I'll say before I read the artist statement, let's go and look at the work, right? So, right away, 4 images right here, right? Very similar. Looks like you have a single portrait, double portrait, triple portrait, quadruple portrait, same composition, all of these. Let's definitely pick one of these. This
That was
photo
the
is
same thing
really
I was thinking when I looked through there.
right. Yeah, that's an easy one to see. So there's so I looked through the series. There's a few different images. This one here stood out to me a lot, and someone bought it. Obviously, just absolutely beautiful. I can't open it. It's just I saved on here actually. These 3 ones that I would say stood out to me. This one here, I love. This one. Well, I think we missed the focus a little bit, but I thought it's on the child in the center. It's just a great. Look at the. I mean, his face. It's just beautiful. This kid's smiling, true joy, the detail, and just all the water coming down. They just seem so at peace. These kids, they really do. And it doesn't seem like they come from a lot either. That's a strong image. That the kids here. I like how they pose for this. It's nice. It's interesting look into where they're from, which is the District of Congo. I'm going to do the artist statement real quick because the artist statement confused me because there's a lot going on in the statement. So, is the artist in the room or no?
Yes, they are.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Hey, how are you doing? All right, so
Good.
every kid, good. So every kid in the world's identical to the other. Everywhere we go, one kid smiles the same as the others. Sorrow's the same as well. I love to capture moments of. Well, when I read that sorrow is the same as well. I tend to think of something like you can never really compare your struggles to other people's struggles. Like I feel like sometimes people they say like, oh well, I went through all this in life, and what you went through wasn't like that. You had a great family, but I don't think we could compare our struggles because we're not the same people. So maybe something that one person could put up with for another person is devastating. So I think I understand what you're saying there. Sorrow is the same as well. I love to capture moments of children as they are themselves. They are the only ones truly dedicated to and dependent on having fun. We become one no matter what the circumstances are. Yeah, there's something very nice about children where they have a much easier time of living in the moment, right? They haven't really had a lot of things where they had to go through life and sort of be judged or feel that they had to live up to some certain standard or label by society, right? Where it's harder to live in the moment almost when you have a lot of those pressures that you have to think about. I've so let me move on. I have intimately attached to the kids when I was shooting my documentary about the success story of a band called Staff Benda Balili. I think I said that right. Meaning look beyond appearances. That's a nice name. Whose members suffered infantry paralysis. So, and then you said dash polio. Can you explain to me exact infantry paralysis? Sounds like paralysis from war, like they were paralyzed during war. But then you put dash polio, which I don't understand. Can you explain that? Was that war?
Polio. Yeah, they were born like that. Infantry paralysis is when you get paralyzed when you are born, and it's called
Infant.
polio. Infantry.
So
Sorry? Oh,
So there's a language gap there because infantry in American English is our troops that are fighting for the military. So I was okay. So
okay,
maybe suffered infantile paralysis or maybe there's
infantile.
infantile paralysis, and that comes from polio.
Yeah, it's called polio.
Oh, it's called polio. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no matter what the circumstances are, they kept walking and walking, right? And then you said walking, and then so are these the children that we're looking at in this series? Because I saw some videos where there was a grown man and he was dancing, but he was dancing on his knees. I don't know if that's because he couldn't walk and he had this paralysis.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So your series is like a mixed media. It's NFTs that are video, and it's combined with NFTs that are photo. So okay.
Exactly.
So no matter what the circumstances are, they kept walking and walking. Finally, they had their dreams come true by dedicating themselves to music. That's beautiful, and I want to see and feel more of that story. 100%. So one thing I'm a little confused about here, right, is
Yes.
that you're saying that at first it's about the kids, right, and then it's about this band and infantile paralysis. But then if you go to the series, it's I don't know how else to say it. It's a little bit all over the place, right? Because in this shot with the man with the guitar, right? I'm guessing that this is that band about acceptance, right?
Yeah.
This video of the man dancing, he has the paralysis, and so
Yes.
some of it's about the children, right? And then some of
Yes.
it's about actually the adults too. So I guess you have to look. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just stated there that the photographs I took are from this Steph Bandebile's neighborhood. It's a mixed media. I know it's a little mixed, but I state that the photographs I took are from the Steph Bandebile's neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's their, some of them are their kids, and it's the neighborhood of the area of Kinshasa.
And so the main story is about what exactly?
I went there to shoot a docudrama. I'm a director also. I went there to shoot a docudrama, and I took pictures of the Staff Bandability's neighborhood. This is my Genesis piece.
Nice. And I watched your docudrama. It was like a 6-minute video or so. I'm not going to play it during the AMA. And I think you're very good with video, and you had a lot of nice, beautiful close-ups, and it was very storytelling. And
Thank you.
I think everybody should watch the video. It's right here. It's on Vimeo. Art Without Limits, gold winner. So did you won something from this?
Yes, I won in 2020 last year from Art Without Limits Festival. I won the gold medal with that.
Fantastic, and I like the video a lot. So now here's where I think I can help you. So the video. So you're good at telling a movie or a documentary through video, a story. But then if we look at these images, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to put a story together. So like think of photography in the same way as a movie. Like you should have an opening image. The image is in between should be sort of that middle dialogue, right? You should end on something that's like more towards the end of the film. Maybe this is an ending photo. I don't know. I know that OpenSea is annoying and it doesn't really allow us to sequence like this.
Yeah.
But what I'm not finding from this is a thematic, cohesive story, because it's too much going on at once, and we need to edit down some of this. And these 4 images are very obvious that you need to.
Yes, that's it. You're right, very right. Yeah.
Right. So, love to hear from Dan on what you think about some of the stuff I said, or what you might have to add.
I was muted. Sorry. I totally agree. While I find the video really compelling, It feels like this, when I look at this group of images, they don't feel like it's quite as compelling of a story because there's too many. And it's the same thing. Kind of what Mike was saying. There's just, you got some duplicates here, but then you have some that are really powerful. You know, the Kobasi with his brother is such a powerful image. The VU waiting for Mama is also great. The Tommy playing bass. There's a lot of great images here. VU with white dress and folks. Just the whole crowd, the whole pile of kids is great. But I think you just have to figure out which are the really strong images here that tell the story, and which ones maybe just they don't add anything. And I think that the group of kids together, like the 4 different versions, I don't know that I would include any of them. That's my personal take. I just don't think it's a very strong image. And it's probably because the people are too far away. But that's just my gut. And I look at the number of images. You got 22. I think like maybe 15, 16 would be about the most I would include here, and maybe even less if you can cull it.
I'm leaning
Yes.
towards less, like 10. But that's, you know, it's subjective, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
hard
totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I also want to, I don't know if I should do a different collection, but I want to add dancers, polio dancers. I've just got one there, you know, down.
Yeah,
The
right,
guy,
right over here.
yes, I have 5 of them, and
Right,
I
I'm
really
gonna load
want to, I want to add 4 more, and I want to donate to End Polio Now Society. I stated that in my previous tweets, and maybe I should do a different collection out of that. What do you suggest for that?
Well, the videos combined with the photos in this is a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
It's just at first it was hard for me to differentiate. I didn't even know it was a video. I just thought it was a photo. Like I didn't know this play button. Like maybe you know. So there's no reason why you can't sell a video as an NFT. So like you can even take the gold medal winning video that you made and kind of cut that into like little subsections and make them like, you know, maybe 3 or 4 NFTs out of that one, and then add the polio dancers into there as well, and just keep the photography part strictly photography and storytelling through a smaller series. Maybe that series is only 6 images, maybe it's 10, you know, maybe it's
Cool.
12. I don't know, but
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Yeah. You're right.
I like
Sure.
the idea of keeping the dancer separate.
Yeah.
Doing it as a
Definitely.
separate thing, just because you can tell you can really focus on that story.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you sold some too, right? You have 5 owners, so
Yeah.
Can I ask what you're doing to get the sales, to promote? Like, what have you done? You made half of an ETH. That's good money.
Yeah. I'm still shilling on the right places. I'm talking on Discord. I'm engaging on Discord and going to spaces. And I also have another my black and white collection too. I will ask for your advice later on that.
Sure. So when you say you're shelling, what like so are you're going to chat spaces? Are you getting on the microphone? I mean, you seem to do well on the microphone. Chat spaces are really good on Twitter.
Yeah.
I've gotten some sales just from being on the chat spaces and, you know, just speaking my mind, and it wasn't even about my work. And someone was just like, wow, I just loved a lot of the things that you said. And I took a look at your stuff, and all of a sudden, I have an email open, see your item is sold or something. So chat spaces is a fantastic place to do that. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people it's hard for them to get up on the mic. You seem like you're pretty confident on the mic, and I challenge everyone to go into a chat space and get on the microphone, because look, it's not like you're on video, right? Like you can what you could do if you're very nervous about it, and I get nervous too. I really do. The first AMA I did on here, I was nervous. I was like, it's MetaJungle. They're big. They're great. I want to do well at this. I don't want to choke. We all get nervous, but like we're not on video, so you can have your phone off to the side, or you can have a piece of paper and pen, and you can have a bunch of talking points that you want to go over. Now I don't have that for this AMA. I'm kind of just going off of the top of my head, because I prepared like 4 or 5 hours before this by studying the artist. But like, if you want to just go into a chat space and speak, you just have a couple of things written down, and then just go ahead and talk about them. And if you start to get nervous and forget what you're saying, you can just look back to. And I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everyone who's here in here listening, because I know that there's a lot of people that are worried about that. And you can resort back to your notes and you just take a deep breath. Start again. Listen, this is a community where everyone is, for the most part, the authentic people in here. There's a lot of authentic people in Web3 and on Twitter chat spaces. They know, they get it. A lot of artists are introverted. A lot of artists are introverted. Not a lot of us are extroverted people. So I think a lot of people should challenge their fears, and once you challenge your fear, you see that it was really not that bad. Right, we create the fear, right? Which means that we can destroy it, right? So we create it on our own. So we get to destroy that when we want to, and we do that by pushing boundaries and getting out of our own comfort zone. And a lot of my sales and work in this year, or just a lot of my successes in photography in the past couple of years, were just saying, you know what, I'm going to take this job, even though I'm worried about it, because the client is wanting me to use 2 or 3 light stands, and I'm more of a natural light photographer, and I'm worried, so I don't take this job. And I says, no, I'm just going to take it. I took it. I took the job, and maybe you might fail. Maybe you might fail at first. Take the next one. Do it again and do it again, or practice at home and get better at it. But I hate to see people put their head down because they don't go and face their fears, or because they become jaded because they've made a sale in 2 weeks or something like that. So, but looks like you're on the right path. Like I said, I think Dan hit the nail on the head with some of the stuff too. Let's put like the videos on their own. You could easily do this stuff on OpenSea. You don't have to pay gas to do this. You can hide some of this stuff. Pick one of the best images from this, and break this down. And if you need some help, hit me up. And you have any other questions? If not, we'll
Cool, Mike. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank
you. Really, Tristan Todd, Light and Shadow. Let's see. Okay, Star Sunscapes, right? I think is this a friend of yours, Dan?
Yeah, that's Arwen Levinson, and she's
Cool.
here in the room.
Oh, she's here. Hi, Arwen. Let's see. I know a question revolved around having a bunch of pieces, 20 pieces or so, and if it should be edited down or something. I'm going to the Discord to check out the questions right now.
Well, actually, hi, this is Arwen. Can you hear me?
How are you doing? Yeah, I could hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I think I'd just like to hear your feedback, your all's feedback, kind of like you've done with the other people. This would be useful for me instead of answering the questions directly.
Yeah, I just want to read it anyway. I mean, it's a Manta collection, a large collection, so I really had to stretch to find 20 photos to put in. So yeah, which time I thought was, like I said before, like there's really no rules, right? Now it's become apparent that smaller collections may be better, and I'm very hesitant. So you've already sold half of your supply here on these photographs. So, and so selling them has been very slow for me. So was the initial first half of the sales slow?
I would say every sale is a miracle.
Okay, I understand that.
I put it out there in August, and it's just kind of been, one sale, then a few weeks go by, then another sale, that sort of thing.
Okay, so 4 months ago, You sold, and so you sold about 10 pieces. You've traded 2 ETH in volume, somewhere close to $10,000 in a few months. And with your art, I wouldn't look at it too much. I mean, it's not bad at all. Like, it's pretty good. For most, there's a lot of people on here that have their work on here for 6 months and they have had zero owners. So, I mean, at first glance, like, you know, how long have you been shooting landscapes? You look like a professional landscape photographer, right? Like, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I would say a long time, but seriously focusing on it since about 2017.
Okay. So seriously focusing on it for about like 4 years or so. Yeah, it's so you have mostly vertical images. You have 2 horizontal. It doesn't really bother me too much that there's 2 horizontal.
So maybe you could also read the collection description, like you did with the other people.
Sure.
Comment, because that's something maybe I could have improved on.
I can read that because it's right up on my screen. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So it says this collection features photographs by Arwen Levinson that capture that moment when the sun is just above the horizon and the sky and landscape light up with a brilliant light. This is my favorite moment in a sunrise or sunset. This is a collection of 20 one-of-one NFTs featuring landscapes illuminated by sun stars. In each image, you'll clearly be able to see the sun with rays like a star. That's pretty straightforward. It says below there, 10% of proceeds are donated to Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance. Most of my photography is from Utah and California, and this is a great organization to promote preservation of lands in Utah. With the link. Please join in my Discord server if you're interested in the collection, my other NFT photography. A roadmap and future incentives for collectors are published there. Anyone who purchases 2 will receive a print of their favorite. First of all, I was going to ask, Arwen, do you still are you still running your Discord server?
I probably should remove that. I have the Discord, but it's not very active.
I only say that because you and I both started our own separate Discord servers at the same time, and we both have kind of abandoned them, I think.
Why did you guys abandon your Discord server?
So because we're in the MetaJungle Discord server, I don't want to talk too much about it, but we have a thing that's called the Photo Collective, which is basically a collective Discord server that where it's like 19 of us that all have one Discord server together. And kind of the idea was to keep it a little more consolidated to make it easier for collectors, people to find us and not have to navigate as many servers.
So now, I'm sorry. So now, if we're talking about Discords that are like in direct competition with MetaJungle and stuff like that, I understand. But if you guys are creating a Discord for sun starscapes, right? And then I think it's fine to talk about that, right? So if you have a Discord and you create your Discord strictly based off of your current drop, which I would recommend creating the Discord before you even decide to drop, a month before or something, right? And you have sun starscapes, and you have general announcements, you have contests, you have a place for people to share their sun star landscapes, right? So maybe think about creating a Discord where you could build a community around you that love sun stars. Like, is it a very niche thing, or is it a pretty? I'm not much of a landscape photographer, but is it a niche thing, or is it kind of like a lot of people like this? I think it looks beautiful. Or maybe you can just have a Discord of people that are interested in posting gorgeous landscapes.
Well, and that's basically what it is, Mike. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's basically a bunch of mostly landscape photographers.
Mm-hmm. So then I guess, like, how do you make it more specific to your current series? How do you maybe you can have contests? How do you build anticipation to sell out the other 50% of your series? It's like, because like you said, everyone's a miracle. It's like, yeah, they're not going to just like sit on there and sell on their own. So, and I'm noticing that all of my friends that do these huge drops, they do it with Discord. They create a Discord, a separate Discord for that specific project that they're going to drop, and they build anticipation around it by whitelisting and raffling and airdrop, whatever it is, contests, and then when their drop happens, they've got an army behind them ready to sell out the series. So, is it something you thought about, or is the Discord that you had more of a general Discord and not strictly towards your project?
I mean, I made one for my project, but the difference between me and your friends is that your friends, the two that you mentioned at least, are very big in the space, right? So they can make a Discord and they'll get a lot of people in it and it will fill up. But my Discord was not really filling up. So
fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Hey, this is Alpha Trilogy. If I can speak for just a second on this, I belong to a whole bunch of Discords of various artists, but it's really, really cumbersome for a collector. So I'll bounce into various ones, and it's just really, really difficult because, for one thing, I collect a whole lot of different things, and there's huge limits on how many. I mean, there's a limit of 100 servers that you can belong to in Discord. So that's a little bit cumbersome. But even if it's only 50, you have 50 artists that you collect or follow. Going to 50 different Discord servers is crazy difficult. And what I noticed is most artists, and I'm talking about some artists that have 1 million plus Instagram followers, on their Discord servers, they might get 200 or 300 members.
Exactly.
But they're not really being able to do a lot with it unless they have a marketing team behind them and they are spending tremendous amount of times in there. And so a lot of these artists that they'll go out on, they'll do a 1 week trip to go out and do a photo documentary series or whatever it is. And during that week, they're not in their server. A lot of times they're even off grid, and nothing happens in those servers, and people just kind of stop going to them. So you have to be really, I mean, the Discord server thing, if you've got a big marketing team, you've got the people behind you to make that work, then I say definitely go for it. If you've got a collection of 15 or 20 pieces or a few collections like that, I definitely think it's a better idea to get together in groups with, several artists going in together and then trying to attract collectors to their servers. I think it's just what makes way more sense. And really going to servers where you can reach other people and posting your stuff, I think is probably a better use of your time than trying to do a server for, a drop of 15 or 20 pieces. But that's just my opinion. From a collector standpoint, trying to keep up with it and try to go into various people's servers, it's just really tough. And so most of them that I see, they really, really struggle with those servers to get any activity, because it literally takes marketing. You got to put money behind it, and it really takes a team.
Sorry, Dan, type in rooftops up top instead of Jeremy Cohen there. And you're completely right, Alpha, with what you're saying. So Jeremy used a marketing team for this. So yeah, he has 400 and something thousand followers on Instagram, but understand that those Instagram followers don't necessarily translate over into Discord. Most people on Instagram don't know how to use Discord. They don't know what NFT means, and they're not interested. So he had a marketing team which he knows, who had helped him with that. So he's a very busy guy. So he has a lot of commercial work, and he doesn't have. And this series sold out. He doesn't have time to be in the Discord. And if you look in the Discord, he was rarely in there. Another guy, JJ, was running a lot of it, and so. These marketing teams, they will take a commission of something out of the sales, but they are doing a lot of stuff. Like they're running the contest. They're collecting all the wallet addresses for the whitelists. They're promoting the projects and all of that stuff. So you have to understand that, like, you know maybe network and finding connections with marketing teams that can do this for you. I don't know how hard it is to do that. I mean, I'm looking for myself right now. I might have one just through a friend, but it could be done that way. But like Alpha is saying, if you don't have that, then yeah, it's very hard to juggle in real life 9 to 5 job or whatever you have. Maybe have kids and stuff like that, and be on a Discord constantly responding to people in there.
Well, if I can jump into, Alpha, thanks for jumping in and saying something. So one of the things that's interesting, and I'll just say, basically what Arwen and I did is we both tried to have our own Discord servers for our projects, and nobody showed up. And so we banded together with a bunch of other artists, created another Discord that was a group Discord, and created what's called the Photo Collective. And that has been a much more useful use of our time, and we have kind of exposed each other to our collector base and which has been useful. I think the biggest, when I'm looking at, and the reason why I started looking, I forgot I was sharing my screen. The reason I looked up this particular project is because I think it's good to know that Jeremy is an Alpha Collective member. He is an ambassador for Sony. He has a massive built-in audience. So if he starts something, people are going to show up and see it. For the average artist that's in our group here that's having these conversations, getting involved with a place like MetaJungle makes a lot more sense, because you don't have to get the people to show up by being a unknown quantity. You have a chance to show people your work for the first time. Whereas as soon as I saw that, oh yeah, look, Jeremy Cohen has a thing coming out, I already know his work. I already know his name. So kind of getting, maybe pulling back to what Arwen's looking at a little bit here, I think what's happening is that while this is really compelling work, I think you just have to think about, this is one of those ones where I don't know that I would necessarily call this collection. I think that they're all really strong images. And I think because you've sold enough of them, there's enough recognition of the collection and what it is, and your existing collectors bought in thinking it was a certain thing. I think that you're super consistent. I think that all of the images fit. The biggest thing I would, put out there is maybe continue, and I know you've already done that, continue telling the individual stories of these pieces, feature them, have them be things you talk about regularly. And I know that probably sounds like a broken record because you're already doing that, but that would be my best piece of advice, I think, on this. Just be bullish on yourself. This is good, great work. Keep showing it. It takes time. You've already sold half of them. You've made a very nice income off of this body of work, and I think you should just keep at it. Y'all still there?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, and I don't really have that much else to add. I totally agree. I think it's a great body of work, and I think the rest will sell. I think it's just, I guess, patience at this point, and continue to do what you did for the initial sales, I guess, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe there's
This
one
is
more. Oh, go ahead.
This is Alpha again. And I would just say there's definitely not any images in this collection that I would cut. It's an absolutely stunning collection. It's beautiful. And I agree 100%. Just tell the story. And Arwen, trust me, send a video in. I'll help you sell them. So, but I think it's incredible.
You heard him.
All right, I'm working on the video. I'm not very good at videos.
Well, I think one more thing that you asked about in your question, Arwen, was the idea of burning. And it's just this is maybe not directed specifically to you, but I think you should really seriously consider, if you already have a significant amount of work into and recognition on what you've done, I think you should seriously think twice about burning art that you really believe in. I think it's one thing to have stuff that you put in there because you did it as filler, which we've heard people talk about in this space already, in this AMA. If that's the case, feel free to burn. If they are your life's work, if it's something you're super passionate about, if it fits, and if it's high quality work, that's when you stick with it and you just keep selling this art. This is your body of work. Keep after it. Hope that helps.
Did you have any other questions?
I don't really have questions now anymore. I think it's right. I just need to keep telling the story of the individual ones that are remaining. I was doing that for a while, and that is actually kind of when I started making more sales. But now I haven't really been, so I do need to do that more.
What about joining chat spaces and talking about your project and then having them showcase it up there and having more eyes on it from people in chat spaces on Twitter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea as well.
Cool. Well, amazing work. That's all I have. So take a look at, I think there must be a few more artists, maybe what, 2, 3?
Yeah. How about Noel Guevara?
Sure. You want to stay? Yes, you want to stay on it and pull them up.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it. What's the? I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know what the collection is.
Noel's collection is on Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let me see if I can just grab it out of the.
His Twitter.
Oh, hello, guys.
Is this Noel?
Yeah, here. Hi, guys. Hi,
Yeah.
Mike. Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
I just wanted to give a bit of context. I'm really new to the NFT scene, so when you had that whole AMA poll, I wasn't very particular in what I wanted to have out of it. I'm a conservation photographer based in Manila, Philippines, and the reason I have two a foundation and an OpenSea is that my foundation is the fine art. Because I'm so used to reportage and documentary that we rarely edit our photos. So I keep those I would say pure photos in the OpenSea that I don't touch. And as we've been going through this AMA, I've actually been updating. I've been very proactive about what I'm learning. So if you would refresh the OpenSea what's your collection, I have updated it a bit as well. So hi everyone.
Okay, I almost got it open. Sorry about that. Let's see here. What do we got? So Noel, which one do you want to at?
Sorry, what's that? Which one first?
Yeah, because I've got your foundation.
Sure. Okay, we can start with that, I guess. Okay, so the foundation is it's a collection of fine art. I started with that one's new. The collection is new, but if you go to created, these are fine art photos of wildlife that I've taken photos of. So they're in the created.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the ones I started with. The very first one I minted was actually the elephant. And basically my question is, I'll just zoom right through it, is as a first time NFT creator, I wanted to get some inputs on photo selection for photos. I don't know if there's much because there's just 3. And yeah, the marketing really helped me when you guys were discussing it.
These are beautiful. So this
Thank
is
you.
so you guys can hear me. So this is you called it a collection, but it's not listed in a collection in the foundation though, right? You know they
Yes.
have the option. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Wait, I minted it before the collection came out. I've kind of regretted it. I have this inclination to burn these and just create a new collection and put them in. I don't know
Well,
if that's a good idea.
why can't I mean is foundation really won't allow you to just drag and drop these into a collection now? Why?
No,
Are
they
they
don't.
really?
I read into it, and they don't allow it.
This is ridiculous, man. Everything I do on foundation costs me money. It's insane. Like I
Exactly.
want to, I want to mint money. I want to list money. I want to change my reserve price money. They take 15% of my sales when it sells. It's yeah. I don't know that I'm too big of a fan of foundation. Other than it looks cool and it has a follow aspect. Like it's awesome. How'd you take that?
Okay, so my photos are mainly of endangered and vulnerable species. My approach when it comes to print and NFTs is that I try to make the owners advocates also of my advocacy. So this one is of a thresher shark in one of the spots in the world that you can see them on a regular basis. So you go down on scuba gear at 4 a.m. Wait for them to come up and have themselves clean and take that photo. So the photo itself isn't as pristine as you see it now. Of course, there are some small fish that were around. So this is what I'm talking about when fine art. I did remove some of them to appeal more to a fine art style.
Absolutely, it's definitely fine art. Now, you mentioned in one of your questions for the AMA about pricing, right? And so the price of these is one ETH, right? So, do I think that this work is worth one ETH? Yeah, I do. But you said that you've been in the space for 2 weeks, right? So, what have you done in the space in the past 2 weeks to build community or you know if, get a name for yourself out there that collectors like will collectors know what your name is. Like the thing is, like, it's hard to talk about price and tell people what they should price their stuff at, but I still see myself as new to the space. I've been in for like 1 month. I'm not pricing any of my stuff close to one ETH. I'm not saying that my stuff and your stuff is worth the same. I'm not saying anything like that. I don't know. Well, what I'm saying is, like, I'm pricing under that because I don't know that I've put in the time and effort and community building to attract collectors to want to invest one ETH in a piece of mine quite yet. Maybe Alpha could lend on that a bit because he's asking about pricing here, and or maybe you can answer the question as to maybe what you've done in the past 2 weeks to garnish one ETH per piece.
Okay, sure. So for initially, if you can see there, I posted it at point, I minted it or listed it at 0.5 ETH first, and then I read somewhere that if you don't feel comfortable with the pricing, you feel like your heart tells you, the how you got it, how you took the shot is that it's a 1 ETH and put it on 1 ETH. So what instead to sort of offset that, I try to go on Twitter Spaces at least twice a day. I live in Manila, so sometimes the time zone doesn't agree with me, but I do try. And I've been chilling as well on the Twitter space. I post about it, and then I joined MetaJungle as well, joining this AMA. So I'm just trying to be as active as I can, within reason and within my means.
Sure, and that's a great start for sure. Did anyone else have a weigh in on? And what was your other question outside of price? There was another
Uh,
question on my phone on
okay,
here.
so it is going to be for. So I decided to just add another collection yesterday because the gas fees were so low. So my question is, okay, so I'm kind of known now for conservation and wildlife, as you will see in my OpenSea, but I also have fine art portraiture. So I started the collection. That's the one there, but I just posted one first. I wanted to ask: does that detach? From a collector's perspective, like, okay, this guy's known for conservation work, but suddenly he's posting fine art portrait that's not in any way connected to it. Does that derail sort of my branding and how I'm perceived?
To me, a little bit. Like, I mean, it, I like to sort of be able to see like cohesiveness, or when I look at an artist, at least I like to, if I'm able to see the work and say, wow, that's that's a Noel Guevara. Is that how you say? That's a Mike Schmidt, or that's a Dan Hawk. When I see it, like, it's almost like I know that that's from them. And when it becomes too many different types of series that feel like it maybe could be from a different photographer, then I sort of sway from that. But this portrait doesn't. This portrait still seems like it comes from you. When looking at the wildlife ones too. So now let me see. You put this at 2 ETH.
Yes, because I share it with the model. I mean, I looked for the model again and just asked for their permission and told them that I'll share it with them as long as I only post it if they agree, of course.
Sure. So you said at first that you posted the wildlife images based on the difficulty of getting that image, which is 1 ETH, versus the difficulty of getting like a side profile portrait, which I would think that the difficulty is much less. So I mean, you asked for a critique on pricing. So I'm just trying to I'm trying to probe a bit here to find out that. Yeah. So I don't. I don't see the price, the gap here between the
Okay.
two, and the difficulty between the two. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
I just felt that, well, it was really a personal decision, but yes, I do see your point, and I will be considered for the other ones and for this one as well.
Sure.
I think, Noel, I think that this is a beautiful portrait, and I understand your thought process. And I think what Mike said was really useful in terms of thinking about how much time you've spent here, what kind of time you've spent in the rest of your life being a photographer and developing your craft. Those are all things you need to consider. They're all things you need to think about when you think about pricing. The big thing that is, I think, really great to remember about pricing is a decision and an exercise in marketing and sales, not in making art. And I think it's good for you to kind of remember that, and to not allow the two to be too intertwined, to not commingle those too much. Your art is beautiful. And the reason I wanted to jump over, I've looked at your Instagram account, and I think you have some amazing work here. And I would love to see more of this available as NFTs. Like, some of these images are really, really great. They're really breathtaking. And what I would say is that I think that your higher prices, I think, can be warranted, but I also think that you might find that you'll have more access to collectors to get started if you were to put some things at lower prices. 1 ETH is, like Mike said, it's a lot. I haven't sold anything at that. I haven't sold a ton of pieces, but the highest I've sold anything for is 0.3. And while I have things marketed and listed at 1 or 1.5, I only did that once I kind of gained some confidence by selling a few at lower price points. So you have a broad range of work here, and I would maybe consider, like, maybe it makes sense to jump in with some stuff at, in the 0.5 or lower range, just to see if you can kind of get your feet wet, which is a terrible pun considering all of these beautiful undersea photos, but allows you to kind of put your feet in, allows you to kind of get some experience, get a few collectors, get really comfortable with that, and then the right collector will find you. And I would just flat out say it. I think that while your work that you've minted is really good, I think there's better photos here in your Instagram account. that I
Oh,
think.
hi, Dan. Thank you for that. Actually, the photo you clicked earlier, that Barracuda, that's on my OpenSea and it's priced at 0.25. So my
Okay.
OpenSea collection is more affordable, I would say. And it's a more motivated collection if you get to it.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And that's what I would kind of lean into. And I say that having 3 images out there that are 1 ETH or higher, the listing price. So I totally get where you're coming from. But I would also say that if you're fairly new to the space, like lean into that 0.25, lean into that 0.3, 0.4, market those, put those in front of people, and the higher priced ones will, eventually you'll find a buyer for them.
Yeah, completely.
Understood.
I just sold 2 pieces today on Foundation for 0.22, and I'd be honest with you, it hurts to sell it at that because I honestly think that those pieces that I sold on Foundation are worth more. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? That pushes me as an artist to get out and just make better images than that. And then I'll sell those at 1 ETH or so. But right now I'm in this transitional phase where, maybe I don't get to sell at that price point yet. And it looks like the price point that I'm selling at is selling, and it looks good to have those 2 sales on Foundation now because now I have some traction on me. I have some eyes on me, and some influential people in the space had bought it. So maybe it's not about the money at first, right? Like about how much you think it should sell for. You're gonna get in the water and you're gonna make more amazing images. So eat it on this one, and sell it to 0.2, 0.3. I mean, it's still over $1,000. And that pays for a trip for you to go somewhere new and shoot some new stuff that you could sell at a high price.
So here's the one. I found it. If anybody's in the group here and wants to jump in, that's the one. Priced right.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Thank you very much, guys. That means a lot. Yeah, I don't want to spend more time on my work, but I just want to say that I also learned a lot about utilities and giving, I guess, the collector something like an added benefit, like for example whether it's a print. I will try to include that as well, or bonus airdrops. I'm just not certain what airdrop actually means, but yes.
I think we can speak to that briefly. I think I'll just put us out there. I think airdrop, it's quite simply something that you give. It's not something people buy from you. It's something that you drop to their wallet, usually as a bonus for having held your piece for a while or for winning a contest. It's an extra NFT of some sort that you give as a reward to people who are either buying your work or somebody who's entering a contest or doing when you're doing a giveaway. But you're going to pay the gas to do that. So make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, that OpenSea collection is based on different locations that I go to. So it's more geographically motivated. It's part of a bigger project called Stunning Seas. And I will, because of OpenSea, that they don't have that much gas fees, I can continue minting as I go.
Yeah, it's like almost like Foundation forces us to want to sell at a higher price because the gas fees, and then they're also taking 15%. So I feel like I listed my stuff initially too high, and then it just sat and sat and sat, and then once I paid the money again to lower the reserve price, then that's when I started to get the sales.
And that's something I've even thought about. I have my initial what do they call it? My
Genesis
first
piece,
my
your Genesis.
has been sitting there since August, and it's precious to me, but maybe it's time to lower the price. Who knows? Well, good. Noel, thank you so much. That was really great seeing your work.
Thank you very much, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think we have maybe 1 or 2 more artists.
Yeah,
Let's see.
We've got. Let's see here.
DB Comic, which is
DB
one
Comic.
piece. One piece. We have Flooded Camera Shinto.
I think that's it, isn't it? Just those 2.
I think that's it. So let's pull up DB Comic because this is the only digital artist
You have a
And-
Masis as well.
Oh, Masis as well. Okay, thank you.
I thought we already. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh no, we did Manishim, not Masis. Yeah, that was the piece right there. So let's see if there was a specific question on this piece. Discord now. Okay. Hello, Mike. I am Bandana Doodle and comic artist. Need your feedback on the above art I minted recently. I tried a bit different style from my regular comic art. If you could give feedback on the description and overall about the particular piece, it would be a great help. I'd rather not read the description first. But can we just open the piece big? Really nice color relationships. I love the blues. I love the blues on orange and greens and the brown. To me, it feels like this girl who's sort of trapped, right, in this vase, and there's a city above her, and it's like all these dreams and everything are on the outside, but she's held back by all of these labels and all of these expectations from the outside world around her. Reading these things, opinionated, short, vocal. But then it seems like there's some other stuff that's like carefree, which is a good thing, I'd say. Like too funny. I don't know. I don't exactly know what too funny means. Overeducated. Some of these confuse me a bit, but generally from this piece, I feel like this feeling of being trapped by sort of cultural labels and expectations, and you can see the girl doesn't even have a face. So it's like, does the girl not even know who she is or what her identity really is supposed to be? That's kind of what I get. It's like a mystery from this piece. So, I mean, you want to read the artist statement?
Sure. We all have our own process of finding closure. Art is my way of doing it. This work is a farewell to a lot of emotions I had past years. Just like everyone else, I trundled back to a fenced space every time I faced fate. The earthen pot in the art signifies the locked place, tangled with the rafflesia flower. Just like the flower grew up suckling the life from the host, the beauty and fun I created sometimes. To protect me from the labels, I choose to remain inside my own self. The hair represents the fragile part of my. Just like moth wings, they writhed a lot every time. This piece is a depiction of my life when I was, and now I find closure.
Wow. So really well written, right? There's one little part there. Can you scroll down about the labels? So to protect me from the labels, I choose to remain inside my own tangled self. So psychologically, what I get from that is, if you're remaining inside of your own entangled self, are you protected from the labels, or do the labels actually define and control you? Right? So, I mean,
So hey,
maybe.
let me throw something out here. We're asking some questions here, but Bandana is actually in the room.
Oh, she's in the room. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, but you don't have a good connection. We can't hear you.
Should I leave and join back?
You sound better now.
I can hear you a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So
Can we?
really
Sorry.
in
Can we mute Noel? It seems like his mic is going off. Thank you. Go ahead, Bandana.
Am I audible better?
You're better.
Okay, yeah, please. You guys asked me something, so
Yeah. I'd love to know. I would love for you to just tell us more about it.
about this piece.
Yes.
Okay, so for last 2 years, this is like little bit personal piece. I was really hesitated to mint it for a while, but then I realized, no, I'm an artist. I'm a very open person, if I say so. So that's why after a very lot of thoughts came across to me, I finally minted it. So I think I put everything which was running in my mind in my description. So that is it.
Well, it's a really well written description. How do
Thank
you?
you.
You mentioned that it's different from your other art. How do you feel it's different?
If you see the collection, I make comic strips. The two collection, if you see so. Comic strips are usually a little funny, humorous, that kind.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like paper. Okay. So yeah, it is a little bit different from my usual style. Most of them I had are cute and funny and comic styles. Yes, this was dedicated to the event of Afghanistan when it was happening, and I did it like that.
Well, I think I'll just say I think that your use of color and shading and just the overall tonality is really beautiful.
Thank you.
I can see that this idea of labels, and I think it's interesting that you've put in here some labels that kind of feel almost positive, like independent. But I
Yes,
also understand that for women, that can be
yes.
it can be used against you.
Yes, I'm from India and I stay in a very small town. And it does happen that you sometimes being labeled as overeducated, like you're too much educated to because I'm a PhD scholar. I'm doing PhD in the university. So yes, that is true in my circle, in my community. I'm like sometimes been said that yes, you were too educated to been opinionated about things, and I make comic art, so they were like girls do not have to be very funny, or you don't have to crack jokes, that. So
Well, you asked about description, and if I can
yes,
give you some advice, I
yes.
think that as soon as you mentioned that you are from India, that gives some context, and
Okay,
I
okay,
would probably include a little bit more about that in your
okay,
description.
okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that is a good idea.
Mention the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah.
So, Bandana. So did some of my observation of the work make sense? It's like this girl that kind of seems trapped and in this vase, and the whole world is out there, and it's kind of like all these expectations and labels from others is sort of making you want to kind of crawl into your own shell and be introverted with yourself. Is that what the piece is about?
Yes, correct. You got it right.
Nice. So then, then I was able to read it well without the actual description. The only thing that confused me, but you just told us, was the too funny and too educated. So like from your
Yeah,
culture,
that is yes,
yeah,
call you down context. Yes.
great. So I actually like this direction of your work better than the other work that you've created in the past. This would be one of my favorite pieces.
Me too.
Thank you.
Sure. So maybe explore more in this. It's sort of like this seems more like of a self portrait, sort of
Mhm.
yeah. So maybe explore more of these self portraits about yourself, because you did a really beautiful job here on this one.
Okay, yeah, that is nice. I can just have a good thought about it. Okay, yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
Sure. So maybe we should talk about the last artist, just because it's like we're coming up on 3 hours.
Yep. Flooded camera, right?
Yeah.
Let me
Flooded
find.
camera. Yeah, this one shouldn't be too hard because he's from really it's hard to judge his work when it's so phenomenally beautiful macro photographs in Singapore, right? But I do have some stuff.
You got a
Sure.
name for the collection or the work?
Yeah. Let's see here. I do. On OpenSea, it's called Singapore from Below.
Got to spell it right.
Yeah.
Did I spell it right?
Singapore.
I found it.
Found it. Awesome. Cool. Well, let me go back to your screen because I was looking at it on mine. And
this has already been a popular one in our. So we know we've seen a lot of this. There's been a lot of great conversations.
for sure, yeah. And I know Alpha picked up a couple of pieces. Definitely one that I would have picked up had I had the ETH at the time. The last one in the series here was
So
the one.
might be interesting to just dig in a little bit. I mean, right off the top, the question, like we can go through this work. You even showed this work when we were looking at Ryan's work. There's some common themes being undersea. Flooded Camera asked about what is your opinion on starting a new collection or having a current one? What should be the ideal way?
Well, that's hard to say. I mean, sometimes if you start a new collection and you've only had a couple of sales on this one, and this one already has 20 or so images that still need to sell, are you saturating your own market? And then it also makes it harder to market your project because you don't know which one to market. You don't know which one to have pinned on your Twitter. It becomes a little difficult. So maybe go all in on this right now. I do think that one I really love. Maybe I'll buy that one from Alpha Trilogy one day, but I don't think he sells his stuff. But so there's a few of them here that are very similar that I think we can take away, right? So you get this little demon eye one that he has it on, and then just right above that to the right we have the tiny big mouth, super similar, and then there's another one. If you go north on the on this, keep going. A little bit more. Yeah, then there's that one there on the right, which is like I think the same species, right? So the collection would be probably easier to sell out. It would probably be easier to get a sale on one of those had you picked the best of the three. And I think the best of the three, if you go south from here, is actually the vertical. I like the vertical there. I don't know. Can you open the vertical and the horizontal one? Those two there, and this one's 0.25. I don't know. The focus is sharp. It is sharp. Yeah. Once you let it load, that's a sharp focus. And then what about that horizontal one? Because I think one of the two should stay, and I think one of them should go. This might be look at the blue.
Yeah, look at the bokeh in the back.
Yeah. Scroll completely out. I think this is the guy that's got to stay then. Yeah, that's the one. So, and you priced it higher than the other, so you even like it better yourself as the artist. So, I think we could get rid of the two other little red guys and stick with that one with that beautiful blue bokeh.
See this one here?
Yep.
And then this one here.
Yeah, and that one on the bottom is clearly better. I think this one needs more saturation actually to match the rest of the series.
This one here is the same as. I thought there was one up here like it. So maybe not.
Yeah, those ones with the line aren't as strong as the rest of the ones in the series. Those thin lined ones, for me at least.
This one.
That one has great color. If anything, I might choose. I would maybe. I think you got to click on them to make them bigger to really see these guys because they're so small. Tiny runner, yeah, exactly.
See, now that's quite beautiful when you look at it, and it's sharp, and we can see a big image. Like these images deserve to be like in a gallery large, and not like looking at a tiny.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think ultimately these are really beautiful. There's all kinds of great color happening, and there's just some culling that could happen that cleaner. I mean, 25 items is not terrible. And to kind of answer the question, this is really beautiful, and I just think that, I mean, how long have these been minted? 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that long, and honestly, flooded camera is kind of new to me. So that would just tell me that I think he, I don't know if it's he or she, but hasn't been around and been in space all that long. And so I think by being around, by showing this work more often, there's going to be some success. These are really beautiful.
Yeah. Scroll down a little bit. There's two that are very similar right there. The one on the right, I think, is clearly the better one just from looking from afar. Can we open these?
But this one has a better name.
Is it better? Oh, penis fencing. Yeah, this one has a better name. I don't know. I like to be a man. That's pretty badass. Excuse my French. I just said 2 curse words, but but this one I really love. Like when it fully loads, like look at those lines. Look at those abstract lines at the bottom of the. I don't know if you know what this is called, but it's just absolutely beautiful. It's so abstract and gorgeous. Can you compare it to the one next to it? Is that is that a cuttlefish? No, I don't.
No, they're slugs, I think.
Slugs. So what about this?
It says
this
it's a
slug
flatworm. Sea slugs.
Yeah. Pull up this guy. I don't know. I don't think this one's as strong as the other one.
No, the other one's stronger.
Yeah, this has a little. See, this might need. If there's a tool in Lightroom called dehaze, there's a little bit of like weird hazy blue around this, and I think it needs like maybe a little bit more of a contrast or something. But it doesn't touch the other one. I would eliminate this one from the series since you have one that's so similar. And is he's on artist is on the microphone?
I don't think he's in here, no.
Okay, so I want to see if he agrees with some of what we're saying. What about these little like seahorse neck looking guys? Safety officer, like there's that silver one, but is there better ones? Well, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Very minimal. Like, but that guy might be better. He's cheaper. He's cheaper to buy. He's cheaper.
This one's the sharpest.
It is, but the background feels like it's taken in a studio, and I don't know how much I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone else might. What about that? What about the one that's in motion on the left there? Is this? I'm trying to say how I feel about this. It has to be open large. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because from far away it was like I don't know. But now I get it. Like I don't know how he created that, but that's really really beautiful. All right, like Nemo in a wind tunnel.
I like this guy.
Me too. He's cool. He's like the king of the sea. Well, I don't know about the king of the sea. The king of the mini universe of the sea. They have their own little world.
He looks like Thanos.
Yeah, look at the bokeh too back there. Look at that light blue and dark blues bokeh and this Dwight's. Oh man, this is so pretty. I mean, these are really difficult to take. This guy getting this scuba suit, going underwater with a macro lens and like moving up to these otherworldly like creatures. It's wild. Respect. I mean, especially for selling it for 0.2. Price is right. Price is right. Yeah.
Well, I ultimately think these are just good. They're it's good. I think it could be trimmed a little bit, but I think artistically they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, like the biggest thing for me is like I look, okay, I see more flooded camera show up more and talk more, and and tell the story of this, because where does he or she shoot? What's their place? What does this look like? Is this scuba diving? Is this aquarium? I want to know more about how this is made.
Is the info on OpenSea in the regular description?
Well, Singapore from below, so I'm underwater photographer, some from Singapore water, over 2 years. Shinto is the artist's name.
And it's supposedly very difficult. I remember reading in the artist statement that scuba diving in Singapore, sometimes you only have up to like 2 to 3 meters of vision, and sometimes it drops down to 0 when it's complete darkness. You can't see anything.
Yeah,
I know that was mentioned. I read that earlier. Let's see.
But I just think that in terms of he mentions, hey, should I wait? And I'm like, I think you probably should work this a little bit before you put anything new out.
Yeah.
A lot of artists have multiple collections of things, so I'm not going to say that you can't put anything new out, especially if you've got something completely different. But just know that the energy and the recognition and the recognition of what you're doing can get focused.
Yeah, let's polish this series and then be more active in the community with your series before we go ahead and move on to something else without polishing it. I think I think we can move on to the next artist.
That being said, there's something to be said for, and I know as an artist, a lot of times we don't like being pigeonholed, and it can be a little bit frustrating to spend a lot of time on one body of work, especially if it's only 8 or 10 images, and to just work on that for months on end, put it in front of the right people. That can get kind of tiring, that can get kind of frustrating.
Absolutely.
So I kind of balance those things, right?
For sure. Yeah, it says right there, on average day, we only get 2 to 3 meters of visibility, which can sometimes drop to 0 depending on the day. Wow. Respect.
Yeah. But yeah, this is beautiful, and I just think that it's probably not been marketed or shared as much as it could be.
And so the last artist is, let's see, it starts with an M here. It's Masses?
Massisis?
Okay. His Genesis collection's on Foundation about light and shadows. Oh, okay, I remember this. So
let me see if I can find it.
Yeah. Hey, you're here?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Thanks. Very good. And you?
We're gonna pull up the work, but I do remember looking at it on Foundation. Very high contrast, heavy shadows, and people coming out from the darkness, and really cool, interesting shadow work for sure.
That's me.
Yep. And the price is right, especially if how long have you been in the space with NFT?
My first mint was in April on Foundation.
Okay, so wow, so quite a bit of time.
Yeah. We are early, still early. Yeah.
But these are new.
Yeah, this one after the Foundation opened the collection section, I wanted to put a collection there. Just 5 photographs for now.
Shadows in color too. I really like this one.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, wonderful timing.
India.
Look at all this.
Yeah.
So dimension. I love dimension in photographs, right? Foreground, middle ground, background. Create a lot of dimension here. If you look to the right of the image, we can see this like pillar stone coming up. That brings dimension, right? The light brings dimension. Her colors are perfect for the image too. It's like her yellows blend in with the yellow with the with the structure. I love all the hieroglyphic looking graffiti or whatever that is. Those etchings that are carved in. Beautiful image.
Thank you very much.
I think more storytelling than some of the other ones, actually. Like you're nailing compositions and light, right? But some of them might lack a little bit of storytelling as opposed to the others.
Normally,
This one is
I'm shooting in black and white for more than a decade. Last 2-3 years, I'm trying to make color photographs also in the streets with my style. This is
the
new
last one too. This is one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
The color relationship between these blues and these like Adobe orange colors, and fact that she's just
direct
sunlight
staring
staring at you, direct sunlight, her the separation of her legs, the timing, right? Perfect. And you're shooting all in golden hour. I love high contrast work like this when the colors are really done right.
Yeah. I'm all in contrast.
And these are shot what in Paris? I mean, or just France in general.
This is from my city Rennes and north of France, Bretagne district. I'm living in Iran now. I'm coming from Istanbul, Turkey. I'm living here for 4 years. In this series, there are 4 photos from Iran and 1 photo from India. The one that you liked.
Let's read his description on Foundation. I want to read the description.
Yeah.
Which one?
The full description of the collection. You can go back and you can see that. You can see a description for the whole collection, right? Description, it's right there.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll read it. I've been shooting street photography mostly in black and white for over a decade to capture the light and shadow patterns around my subjects and their surroundings. But I finally discovered how to work color photography into these patterns. In my first collection on Foundation, I want to show the role of light and shadow. People emerging from darkness is mesmerizing to me. We came from the dark and we will end up in the dark. Life gives us a momentary light. We must make the best of it. I love it. Very poetic, beautiful description. And it adds to the work. Like a lot of descriptions can some descriptions can take away from the work, and it's like you sometimes want the work to speak on its own, but this adds to it. I really enjoy that.
Thank you very much.
I know.
And also, in every photograph, I just write one sentence. It gives a dimension, to photograph. There is.
Yeah, she wasn't an ordinary woman. The light was following her everywhere. There was a red light escaping from the shadows.
I think this is great. I really like I like that you thought that through, how you're doing it and why you're doing it. It's one sentence. As much as I think at times we ask for a lot more description, it's great. You've put information here, you've put the date, you've put a single sentence. I like it. And to me, this is the strong collection.
Yeah.
I like it.
A little bit like Japanese haiku style writings.
Yes. Yes.
Just minimal. I like that.
Cool. Well, do you have any other questions on your series here? I think it's going to sell on Foundation at this price point.
Yeah, I try to make it. It's my cheapest price in Foundation. I try to make it phone and sold out, but let's see. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's priced well.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, and maybe it'll even auction higher once it shows at the top after you get a bid. Oh.
Yeah, I like the foundation that style. The bidding gets my first photo sold like that. There was 2 bids, and the first bidder bought the one another photo. I sold in 2 days 2 photos. That was great.
Awesome. Well, it's getting a little late. I gotta eat.
Yeah, here also.
My girlfriend ordered some Chinese food like 2 hours ago. It's been sitting on the table, but I've had a really amazing time co-hosting this with Dan. Thank you so much, Dan. You've had so much value to bring to this. I really appreciate you being here and you know just helping helping all these artists for like it's amazing. We're helping the artists from all over the world, and you can really tell that everybody here appreciates the AMAs, and I really appreciate MetaJungle and and Goon and Metagirl and Alpha Trilogy and all you guys for making this possible. And this is the first space that's really like welcomed me in. Like I kind of just accidentally saw a post from someone saying they were successful with their sales because they were part of MetaJungle, and I was like, let me check out this MetaJungle place. I like the name, and I absolutely do not regret coming to MetaJungle. You guys look at Alpha just bought School of Barracudas. I already wrote on there like I didn't know that he was going to pick that one up because that's that's a pickup right there, right? Obviously.
Why do you think I was pointing it out?
Yeah, I was like, he's going to pick this one up for sure. Beautiful. And beautiful support from Alpha Trilogy to NFT photographers in the community and communities of other mediums. It's amazing what we have going on right now, guys, for real. Like we're literally able to own our own artwork. We don't need galleries to represent us. Look at us. We're speaking to collectors one-on-one, artists to supporting artists, collectors supporting artists, and you have us. I would say, I guess, mentors, even helping you guys in the space. And I really believe that we're all going to do amazingly well as long as you guys stay on the path and come to the AMAs and stick in MetaJungle and the chat. We're all here to help you. Don't forget that it's not all about being on here, but take the time to get out there and create your work. That's part of the process as well. And, if you learn something here, please share that information with one of your friends. If you're out international, and you have friends that don't have access to the information that you got here, well, give them that information. Pass the information that we gave you guys here on to someone else, and they're going to pass it to someone else, and so on and so on. And this spider web will continue, and continue to show love and empathy. And this is an amazing space, an amazing time right now. I really appreciate you guys.